high right now. Looking at Cape Fear at Fayetteville, flood stage is 35 feet. Now it's at 50 feet and on its way up. We've seen this go up a couple of feet as we've been on the air this morning. By Tuesday, expected to crest somewhere around 61.8 feet. They have lowered that by about a half a foot, but that still would put it 3 feet above Matthew's flood stage for the Cape Fear at Fayetteville. And the Little River at Manchester is at 32 feet, expected to crest later today at 34.4 feet. Live look at First Alert Doppler. We're not seeing any severe weather as far as storms or tornadoes right now. The line that was producing tornadoes and tornadic signatures earlier, the TVS is meteorological speak for tornado vortex signatures. So when we see it, that basically you're looking at the radar, and when you see a signature, a picture pop up where things all come together to make that TVS. We saw a couple of TVSs earlier today. That's now lifting off to the north and pressing out of here, but still a lot of lightning going on in Granville County, headed for Vance County, by the way. So in Henderson, you'll hear thunder in the next 15 minutes. Roxborough, you got strong thunderstorms in Person County, and then also northern Orange County, right there on the line from Mebane. It's just east of you and pressing up toward northern Durham County. Live look into downtown Raleigh. Temperature right now is at 77. Dew point's at 75. 94% humidity and a south wind at 17 miles per hour. A little bit of daylight starting to punch through in Durham. Look at that. 4.5 inches of rain since midnight, and about 3 of those inches came between 7 and 9. I mean, it was just a deluge around here. 75 degrees, 93% humidity, winds are southeast at 11. Latest regional radar picture and satellite picture shows the bulk of the heavy rain pulling up right now. Sunshine actually breaking out in parts of Hoke County, Cumberland County, and also down into Robeson County. And also we're seeing some sunshine now into Moore County. You're thinking, thank goodness. We need the sunshine. We do need the dry time. As we go through the day, here's Florence out here to the west, rotating through northeast Kentucky now, drawing some very heavy rainfall up through Columbus, Ohio, into Charleston, West Virginia, then into Virginia. That's all lifting up to the north. It's the tail end of this. You can just see watch right here toward the end, right there. You see a little bit of cloud cover here, and it doesn't look like much, but that's instability in the clouds. So as we go through the day, if we look at our First Alert Predictor forecast model, lunchtime, we're dry, but we're starting to see some of this fill in. And as that little line of instability works in, I think, late day, between 4 and 7 o'clock tonight, we can see another pop-up round of showers and thunderstorms. The tornado threat should pass, but we would still see some stronger showers working through. They're going to have a lot of humidity to work with, and they're going to put down rain on rain-soaked areas. But by tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., we're dry to start the day. Tuesday looking nice until Tuesday afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 pop-up showers toward the end of the day. Still, as the remnants of Florence go up through Pennsylvania, the very tail of it may trigger a shower or two tomorrow afternoon. I don't think it will be much. Your forecast looks like this for today. Temperatures across the region in the 70s, 75. By lunchtime, we'll go to 80 degrees. Your First Alert 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather, showing temperatures tomorrow back into the 80s, 87 degrees on Tuesday. Just that slight chance of a shower. Then as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we see sunshine. Everybody's ears kind of perked up because we heard a beep there that we usually hear with the tornado. It's actually just a storm report coming in, so it's nothing we have to worry about. I don't want all our producers and reporters to get worried, but we do have a report of minor structural damage to homes on Leo Drive, Lynn Haven Drive, and Watson Lane, and trees down as well. That's in Elm City. And as we started this, John and Barbara, as we came to the start of this cast, this weathercast right here, I had that great picture of that tornado taken from a safe spot from one of our viewers out there. So thank you to Annette. All right, time for weather and traffic together. Now let's go to Kim Diener with First Alert Traffic.
Thank you so much, Don. We're going to start with the fact that Chapel Hill Transit has closed. You're not going to be able to navigate public transportation in Chapel Hill because Chapel Hill Transit is closed. And after I cover all of the happenings in Durham right now, flooding and water rescues and accidents, we're going to talk about I-40 and I-95. So we will get to that. If you need information about that, we're going to see it in just a moment. We're going to start in Durham because right now the situation in Durham is happening quickly, and I'm sure by the time I finish this, there'll even be more water rescues and more flooded roads. So I want to start with the viewer, let Barbara know that Roxborough Street was flooded, and we're going to get to Roxborough Street once I have a chance to look at that information, but I want you to know the viewer did tell us that. All right, we have an accident, I-40 westbound Boulevard, Harrison Avenue. We're going to start in Wake County first. Sorry about that. McCrimmon Parkway, NC54 Chapel Hill Road. That accident happened just a few moments ago. I-440 westbound NC54 Hillsborough Street, an accident again in Wake County. US 401, Lewisburg Road, Sinclair Drive, that accident causing backups, all of that happening in the last few minutes. And now we're going to make our way into Durham. Flooding Fayetteville Street at Pilot Street between Burlington Avenue and Cornwallis Road. That happened just a few moments ago, still flooded. Now we've got a water rescue, happened maybe 10-15 minutes ago, Guest Road and Victory Boulevard at Rose of Sharon Road. Use Duke Street to avoid this because obviously flooded enough to need a water rescue. You're not going to be able to get your car through that. Another water rescue, Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard at Westgate Drive, right there at Highway 15501 bypass. Use University Drive to navigate that area. Water rescue, Chapel Hill Road between Farrington Road and Garrett Road. We also have flooding on Hillendale Road and Sprunt Avenue between Club Boulevard and I-85. An accident I-85 southbound at US 15501 that's causing backups because of that accident. We have flooding I-85 Coal Mill just west of that area. That part of the road has been closed because of that flooding. Flooding on East Weaver between Pilot and Cornwallis, and flooding Forest Hills between Woodridge and James. And again, we're still in Durham. Now we're going to go to Chapel Hill, where Greensboro Street at Etz Drive is experiencing flooding, so you're not going to be able to make your way through that via a car or any sort of mobile transportation. In Carborough, we have standing water on Highway 54 Business at Greensboro Street, and then a few more incidents in Raleigh I want to update before we go to look at 95 and 40. Capitol Boulevard North has now reopened, so it's no longer closed. We had a serious accident overnight there. US 70 Glenwood Avenue at Lead Mine, still seeing backups there. Also at Arrow Drive on Glenwood. And then we're going to take a look at this last one, I-540 westbound US 70 Glenwood Avenue. Avett Ferry flooded. The NC State students need to be aware of that. Crest Road and Western Boulevard. All right, let's get to I-95 and 40. So I-95 is still closed just north of Fayetteville near Dunn, all the way up to US 64. The only change from today and yesterday on 95 is that they're allowing you to navigate on 64 through from 95. Yesterday you couldn't do that. So that's the only part that's reopened on 95. So if you need to get down into Fayetteville, I do have two alternate routes. We've got them on the web. You just go to ABC11.com. One of them takes you through Lillington, and I know that Lillington, the Cape Fear River is expected to flood in Lillington during the day today. So you may not be able to use the 401 alternate route, but there are two for you. And then let's go to I-40. All right, so I-40 reopened late last night. It reopened for a good portion of 40. Right now, the only part of 40 that's closed is near NC 24, and that's near Warsaw because it's flooding. That's where we first started to see the flooding before they closed all of 40. And that is closed until US 117 near Carroll. It's virtually impossible to get into Durham. So even if you can make it, into Durham, I'm so sorry, into Wilmington. So even if you took 40 and you made it all the way down to Warsaw, any side road that you want to take to get back onto 40 into Wilmington is flooded. And as you get closer to Wilmington, I know 74 is flooded. So 17's flooded, 74's flooded. All of those entrances into Durham are flooded, so they're recommending you don't even attempt to do it. If you do attempt to do it, you may find yourself just hanging out outside of Durham because you can't get into Durham. Barbara and John? Durham, why am I talking? Because we've had so many floodings in Durham. Wilmington, guys.
I know,
Wilmington.
I know. It's all...
Yeah, because Durham's really gotten hit this morning. 4.5 inches of rain since midnight falling in the Bull City.
Yeah, and speaking of that, let's go to Andrea Blandford in the Breaking News Center because Durham Public Schools are open today, and it's all this crazy weather, and they've explained why, right?
That's right. We do have a statement from Durham Public Schools. I see it is not loaded in the prompter for me right here, and I do not have it printed out actually in front of me, but we were hearing from Durham Public Schools. They did release a statement because the school system was taking a lot of heat for not canceling school today. So here it is. It's actually on your screen, so let's take a look. This is what we were just getting in from a communications office there. When weather advisories were issued and conditions began to deteriorate, buses were already en route to school. In such situations, it is generally safer, they say, for our buses to bypass flooded roads and bring students to safety at our schools, which are secure facilities. These Durham Public Schools administrators tell us that they have been tracking the changing conditions since 3:30 this morning, and from from all of the information that they had every indication that this was a good day to open school. This is the latest statement that we're getting, an explanation as to why they did not close down when all surrounding counties decided to shut down today and make sure that those students did stay home with their families. Again, they're telling us that the buses were already en route to school. This, of course, as we have been seeing tornado warnings and flooded roads throughout the Bull City. We've been tracking those conditions for you, and we'll keep you updated as things continue to deteriorate across the Bull City, guys.
All right, Andrea, thank you. And Julie Wilson said they ran up on some kids waiting at the bus stop in all of that incredible rainfall.
All right, time now 9:13. We have more coverage to come right after this.
I want to show you this video that is a school bus.
Oh.
And it is in Orange County. And it is all the way up to its headlights, which on a school bus is that is very deep water. This is Orange County. This morning as we got pelted with all of that, inundated with all that heavy rain. And this is just sent in of this from a viewer. Only just a couple of seconds long, which is why it continues to replay. And the sensor is down in Orange County, but they got 3 inches of rain in 6 hours. Durham got 4.5 this morning. But again, the schools open in Orange County this morning?
I'm not sure about Orange County. Chapel Hill, Carrboro
City schools are closed, but Orange County is, and so is
okay.
Durham. But
that road, by the way, is Old NC10.
That's hard to believe.
Old NC10 was the road.
When no one is supposed to drive through, and then I don't know if kids were on it, but you're driving a school bus.
The bus, we're told, did make it through that street, Old NC10, but that's not a very
no parent would
sight.
want their child on that bus going through that water.
All right, Julie Wilson has been out and about all morning checking things out in Durham, and you got some of that video earlier that we saw of a rescue that was taking place in high water.
Yeah, that was off Hillendale and Sprint Avenue, if I remember those names correctly. Yeah, some people had driven down. The water got up to about their door handle on their cars there, and then they had to do a water rescue. We caught the tail end of that when they were loading up the boats with the fire department now. Now we're standing off Constitution. This is the forest at Duke. Look right behind me how high some of this creek water has come. Well, now you can't see it because of that plumbing service, but you can see a car that is just back there. The water is up pretty high, and then that trash can got flipped over under the force. I want to bring in Zach now. Zach is actually from Wilmington. You fled Florence last week. What made you decide to leave?
Well, looking at it here, I'm glad I did because, you know, they got 20 inches of rain. You got bad winds, you know, a couple of fatalities there, and it's just a smart thing to do, you know.
You said you're a masonry worker. You're going to have some work to go back to.
Oh, plenty of work, plenty of cleanup. We're actually right off the Carolina Beach, about 30 feet, so we'll probably be a couple feet under sand there, but everywhere else we should be good.
Yeah, when we were in Atlantic Beach yesterday, sand was the big issue there, how much sand had come. Have you been in contact with folks at Wilmington, and what have they been saying?
Yeah, I've come in contact with a couple of them. Like I said, they got 20 inches of rain. Everybody seems their houses seem to be fine and stuff, so as far as I know, a lot of people that I know are safe there. My boss's house is good. Everybody that I work with is good. So, you know, that's all that really matters right now.
Not how you want to spend a week off work.
No, ma'am. I need to work. You know, I'd like to go into work, not stay off. So
Yeah, that's happening here. Okay, Zach, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Best of luck getting back to Wilmington. Taylor, come on over here. It is Taylor's car. Jeff, we might have to scoot up just a little bit if we can get that in the background. I'm not sure, John and Barbara, if you can quite see it. Taylor, step in here. You were actually told to take a mental health day because your car is flooded.
Oh yes, flooded to the top. I woke up this morning about 6:30 and I was like, oh, I'll be fine, and the water was completely rushing and my car was completely full.
Is it inside of your home?
No, not yet. It's real close. If it rains anymore, definitely will probably be in our home.
And you're saying there's a creek back here. How far back is that creek?
It's like where that pole, you see that long pole? It's a very small creek, like
Kind of hard to see, but it's, I don't know, 200 meters back there, folks.
It's a very small creek. I could probably jump across of it, but now it's a river. So
it's a sight to see. And Jeff, if you'll pan on down this way, you can actually see where the water's been gushing over the road. It's not quite as bad when we first arrived, but it is still making its way over the road. Is this something you've ever seen here?
No, this isn't anything I've ever seen here, and I've lived here for 2 years.
So this is the first time. A lot of water.
A whole lot of water.
And there's a trash can right behind you. Did it push that over?
Oh yeah, we were sitting outside and it completely fell. And all the trash is now behind our apartment.
Yeah, I can see it back there. White bags in that corner in the background. Okay, what are you going to do today?
Cry. Sit at home and call my insurance company and hope for the best.
And pray that they will help you out.
Exactly.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much for chatting with us. We are at the Forest off Duke here. This is Constitutional Road. Colonial Village at Deerfield is right across from us, the apartment homes, and you can see that road right back down there that you just saw. That's covered in water. Is actually on the other side of the road, rushing down through kind of that ravine there. So definitely concern here. If we can continue to get rain, some people could see that up in their homes here in these apartment complexes that sit across from each other. John and Barbara.
Wow, that lady lost her car, but she's smiling and happy about it, and I guess she realizes what's really important, and that car can be replaced. She cannot.
Yes.
Thanks, Julie.
Just in case you thought Florence was not finished.
No, this is the storm that will not leave.
The tail end is nasty too. All right, it is 9:20. We're going to take a break, but be back with more continuous coverage of Florence.
Welcome back and good morning, and we continue to cover the remnants of Florence that continue to pound our area. In the city of Durham alone, since midnight, more than 4.5 inches of rain fell. And I noticed that these were the counties that had tornado warnings since midnight. Durham County, Halifax County, Nash, Wayne, Orange, Edgecombe, and Wilson counties all had tornado warnings for a time since midnight.
All right, we've also gotten some new information about the shelters in Wake County. There were 5 of them. They've all closed, and they've moved over all the evacuees from those shelters in Wake County to UNC Chapel Hill. We're assuming they're trying to get prepared for school to open tomorrow.
We have not gotten any indication about a lot of the school systems for tomorrow. Of course, they'll be making that decision as the time gets closer to it.
Well, at the height of the storm, more than 20,000 people were living in shelters, and one of those is actually a survivor of, can you imagine, Hurricane Katrina. She says that she made the mistake of not evacuating in New Orleans, and it's a mistake she's never going to make again.
Yeah, she spoke with our Ed Crump about that.
3 shelters for evacuees from outside Wake County, including this one at Garner High School, are filling up quickly. But as the danger in Wake County subsided, shelters for local residents closed. That was the case at Raleigh-Sanderson High School, where Kay Kelly Brown and her friends were getting a ride back home. Kelly Brown moved to Raleigh from New Orleans after surviving Hurricane Katrina.
I was stuck in my home for 7 days with dead bodies and stuff floating, so this kind of brings back memories, you know.
She feels fortunate that Wake County didn't bear the brunt of the storm and that she can now return to her Raleigh home, a home she didn't hesitate to leave as Florence approached.
My first thing was, we're getting out of here, you know, regardless of what, you know, regardless of the damage or whatever, you know, we just had to leave, because my first experience just taught me a lesson.
As Kelly Brown was heading home, on the other end of Wake County, preps were underway at REDS in Garner. REDS stands for Rescue Extrication Delivery Specialists. It's a nonprofit that performs all kinds of rescues, including swift water, calm water, rope extractions, and even has scuba divers on staff.
We're here, stage ready to go, equipment's ready to go, personnel's ready to go.
REDS Chief David Peace says state emergency management officials are trying to be cautious with resources as the storm makes its way across the state. If you've heard of the calm before the storm, this group is dealing with the lull in the midst of the storm.
Kind of in a middle area, because they feel like the storm obviously is moving west and going to be moving northwest up toward the mountains. And because a lot of the teams down east are stuck, and even if they couldn't get them out if they needed to, plus the teams here couldn't necessarily get in there to where they needed to, they're trying to stage teams in places to where as things start hitting later today, tomorrow, Tuesday, they can get the teams out to get to these folks, and you know, we won't get stuck somewhere.
When asked what the most common mistakes people make that get them in trouble during storms like this, he started with number 1 on his list.
Water over the bridges, and people try to drive through it and realizing there's air in their tires, and you know, cars float when it hits to the bottom, and they'll pick them up and take them right off. It doesn't take but 1.5 feet of water to do that. So, you know, and some of the water's moving pretty quick.
Next on his list, people wading or even swimming in floodwaters.
People don't realize they get in this water and they walk around, and when you talk about floodwaters, you're talking about all kind of nasty things in this water. That's just pollutants. I mean, down in Floyd, you know, we had dead chickens, dead cows. We had a cemetery where literally caskets were floating.
Late this afternoon, the REDS team of 16 rescuers got the call they'd been waiting for. They're now headed to Burke County, the next front, as Florence brings her flooding rains to the mountains. They're prepared not only for threats from pooling floodwaters, but also for the rock and mudslides that storms often cause there. In Wake County, Ed Crump, ABC11, Eyewitness News.
All right, Andrea Blandford is standing by in the Breaking News Center. She has some new details to bring to us.
Yeah, John and Barbara, we have a sad update. We're learning that 1 person died while staying inside an emergency shelter during Florence. New Hanover County officials are telling us emergency crews got to Hoggard High School to find that person unresponsive inside. That school was being used as a shelter. We are working right now to learn the cause of that person's death. We will update you as soon as we get that information. Today, Today, though, officials plan to airlift food and water to Wilmington, a city of 120,000 people. That, thanks to Florence, as you can see right here, is now cut off from the rest of our state. Yesterday, people who lived there and chose to stay through the storm waited for hours outside stores and restaurants just to get their hands on basic necessities, things like water. It's just incredible to see this aerial footage right here of just the flooded roads and the devastation in our port city. County Commission Chairman Woody White, he says that because of flooded roads, there is no access to Wilmington right now. So people are just going to have to wait this thing out and try to get these supplies that they need in order to survive as the days go on. Guys.
All right, Andrea, thank you. We also want to let you know ABC11 programming right now, Ryan and Kelly, right now on digital channel 11.2 and on Spectrum channel
1240.
1240. Sorry, but yes, if you'd like to watch that.
It's been a long several days, folks. So, but we're going to take a quick break here. We have more coverage with our live crews out on the scene, and we'll let you know what the forecast holds for the rest of the day. Is there more rain coming? We'll check in with Don Schwinneker in a few minutes.
Watching the situation.
It's been an incredible number of days.
We've just rewritten the history books.
The Coast Guard rescuing flood victims, asking residents to please seek higher ground.
I downloaded the app and I've been following all of your team.
Water levels continue to rise.
Up until Floyd, we had never seen anything of this nature.
I could be dead. It was that close.
Band after band of very heavy rain.
We got each other and we're going to go pull through.
We knew we had to go above and beyond.
Everybody pulls together and just makes it through this together.
You're watching ABC11 Eyewitness News.
And welcome back at 9:31 as we continue our coverage of now the remnants of hurricane, then tropical storm, then tropical depression Florence. Chopper 11 HD is flying out toward the coast right now south of Holly Ridge near North Topsail, surveying the damage there. And I can't tell how much of this is natural and normal and how much of this is flooded, but we will continue to look at these pictures and monitor them and then give you updates as we go along.
So many of our beaches were unable to be seen because we couldn't get crews there, and now we're getting aerial video, and it's going to be interesting to see how they fared Florence. Let's go to Anthony Wilson. He's live for us now with the latest on conditions. Okay, we're having trouble with Anthony's live shot, so we're going to go now to weather and traffic together, and we start with big weather. Good morning.
Good morning to you, John. Barbara, good morning to you. Nice to come to you without a tornado warning. We've had, what, 6 of them this morning so far? It has been crazy. I mean, in all my time here, I don't think I've had as many tornado warnings in years as I've had in the morning hours as I've had in the past 4 days. And the weather a little bit more on the quiet side now in spots. But the water, it's going to take forever. You just got to report the Eno River at Durham is now in flood stage because of that rain. It just blew up this morning. Also, the Eno River at Huckleberry is also in flood stage now. It's in major flood stage. Just got that from the National Weather Service. I haven't been able to even put a graphic together yet. But Durham County under a flash flood warning. We have several flash flood warnings to talk about. Flash flood warning now for Person County, Granville County, into Durham. Also into Orange County, Alamance County, get out toward the Triad. They've had flooding and some mudslides reported west of here. We're seeing flash flood warnings in western Wake County, into Chatham County, down into Lee, Moore, Hoke, Harnett, Cumberland, then also into Robeson and Bladen counties both. Sampson County, Wayne County, eastern Johnston County, southern Wilson County, and the southwest tip of Nash County, all under flash flood warnings. Let's talk river warnings across the region. Several river warnings to pass along to you. Fayetteville, 35 foot. It's the Cape Fear River at Fayetteville. The flood stage is 35 feet. We see it now at 50 feet and continuing to climb. I should have an update at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock of the latest, but as of last check, it was at 50 feet. Manchester, the Little River at 32 feet, expected to crest at 34 feet. Let's go from there to a look at the Haw River and the Deep River. Somebody on Facebook messaged me about the Deep River at Moncure. There you go. 9 feet is the flood stage. It's now at 13.1 feet. And by tomorrow expected, or by later today, today's Monday. Yeah, later today expected to crest near 15 feet. We look at the Haw River near Bynum, 11 feet, now 13.6 feet. And expected to crest at almost 15 feet. The Neuse River, Smithfield, 15 feet now, 18.9 feet staying there. Goldsboro, 18 feet. Now it's at 24 feet, so it's 6 feet above flood stage, expected to crest 8 feet above flood stage on the Neuse. In the Cape Fear and Lumbers rivers, Cape Fear and Lillington expected to continue to climb. Waiting on that 10 o'clock update, it'll be into the 18 feet range if it's not already. And Lumberton, 13 feet is the flood stage. It's at 24 now. Expected to crest later on today at 24.3 feet. Live look at First Alert Doppler, and we've got plenty of viewers up in Chase City and Clarksville. As a matter of fact, now Mecklenburg County under a flash flood warning up in southern Virginia. You've been one of those, I think you're the last county in our entire viewing area, out of the 23 county viewing area, you're the last county to get a flash flood warning, and even Florence is throwing some flash flooding your way from Clarksville to Chase City. Heather LeBone watches up there, and I know you've got some showers and thunderstorms up there. Oxford, some heavy showers and thunderstorms right now over downtown Oxford on the western side of town. That's moving right along US 15 into Vance County, Williamsboro, Henderson. The showers are done at the moment. We zoom out to the west and we look into Person County and then down into Orange County from Hillsboro. That last batch of really heavy rain now pressing out of Hillsboro into Person County. Durham County, just the northern tip of Durham County with some shower activity. And one last little batch of shower activity here in Wendell, east of Zebulon, working into the southern part of Franklin County. This picture was sent to me by Annette Barnes. She took this picture down in Elm City as the tornado hit Elm City. We have reports of damage. National Weather Service will send a crew out there to assess the damage and come back with a full report on this and tell us what size it was, possibly EF0, EF1, EF2, somewhere in that range. So they will look for that. But thank you, Annette, for passing that along. Live look right now into downtown Raleigh. Temperature right now in the capital city is at 77, dew points at 75. It's 94% humidity. South wind at 17 miles an hour. Sun rose at 6:59. It'll set tonight at 7:19. Live look into Durham. This is the number that amazes me. Since midnight, over 4.5 inches of rain have fallen in Durham. Over 3 inches of rain in southeastern Orange County. 76, 93% humidity. And winds are out of the north about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Live look at radar. Here's a pretty picture. We're seeing some sunshine work through. As a matter of fact, somebody just sent me a picture on Facebook of sunshine in their backyard, first time in like 5 days. And we see that sun working through the sand hills, those showers lifting north. And if we zoom it out, Florence is up here, center of rotation working around the Ohio River Valley. That's going to lift off to the north and to the east. Trailing off it, though, it may pull up some moisture still. This thing slowed down a little bit overnight. overnight. We expected this area to be here about 6 o'clock this morning, so it's running about 3 to 6 hours behind, but it is running at least. Most of our models are doing a nice job detecting that first batch moving out. Now later today we'll have a little bit of instability in the atmosphere, and so you may see a pop-up shower anytime from noon on. I think our best chance will be about 5, 6 o'clock tonight as this little piece of energy works through. It's going to trigger a shower or two out there, and then that rotates on through, and then through the overnight hours we'll actually see things start to dry out a little bit. And I think most of tomorrow is going to be rain-free as we go into your Tuesday. We'll start off with sunshine or mix of clouds and sunshine. Still be a lot of moisture, a lot of humidity in the air, and a little bit of instability, and so that still could trigger a shower wrapping around the bottom side of the storm as it pulls out of here Tuesday into Tuesday night. But for today, and then we finally see improvement by Wednesday. Some sunshine actually returning to the region. For today, though, we'll see a mix of clouds and sunshine. Scattered showers around this morning will continue to work out as we go into the afternoon. Temperatures today running near 80 degrees. Your 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather showing temperatures tomorrow back into the upper 80s, 87 degrees with a few showers and a few thunderstorms. On your Wednesday, 86 degrees and mostly sunny. Thursday, mostly sunny, 84. Friday, 86. Saturday, may have forgotten, we're coming up on the first day of fall. The autumnal equinox happening on Saturday, 88 degrees. I didn't know if I could get that word out.
I would never have been able to find it in my brain.
I didn't know if I could get it. It came out though. I can't say it again though, so we'll go to you guys.
Okay.
Autumnal equinox.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
And hang out with us. Are you going to traffic first?
No, you guys are looking at
Okay, we're going to go to Chopper 11
Sure.
video. This is live video of Topsail. This is North Topsail Beach.
That's the ocean.
And we're hearing that there are some dramatic pictures of some damage and some flooding. And I was going to ask you what, if right off the top of your head, not meaning to put you on the spot, if you know the rain totals for
Topsail and that area down there, they're anywhere from 25 to 30 inches around that region. I think it was closer to 20. Well, and also you got to remember that when this came ashore, when Florence came ashore, the highest winds were hitting Topsail first. That's where the eye wall started to come through. I know it officially, the eye made landfall down near Wilmington, but as it cruises along, you can see the beach erosion working right up into those yards. Look at some of those pools that they put next to the ocean, just brown and nasty, and I'm sure there's a ton of debris there.
The chopper is headed south in this video, and I'm looking at our ABC affiliate WWAY, and they report about North Topsail, some shingles, siding, decks, and crossovers and other non-structural damages observed.
You can see some of the shingles off a couple of those structures there.
Most homes apparently are intact there at North Topsail.
And I was reading from their Topsail Beach, North Carolina news page, what they were asking people to be patient because apparently there were power outages and they wanted to be able to go out and assess the damage of the storm, so they're asking people to be patient.
Well,
so it may be the same situation like it was on Atlantic Beach.
Now,
people weren't able to get back in.
I'm going to talk about that area right there where you see it's black.
Yeah.
So that's one of those big berms that's usually built up. They'll pile sand in there, one of those nice big dunes, and where it goes black back to the brown right in the middle of your screen, that's where that sand has been eroded all the way back. So it's almost like a cliff. My guess is, we'll look at the damage there. You're seeing some of the pier damage and a lot of wood damage. Now we're getting into areas where we're seeing more and more of the roofs missing shingles. There on the right-hand side of your screen, we're seeing roofs miss shingles as it flies along. And again, where you're seeing that black area versus that light-colored area, that's where the erosion took that all the way back. Those are a couple of houses there that were on the beach that probably aren't going to stick around, that were on the other side of the dune there. You can see them right in the middle of your screen.
And whenever we have a storm like this and a lot of damage, the question arises afterwards, how close up should you allow houses to be built to the ocean? We know that there's erosion, and we know that there's a lot of damage that can occur even after a tropical storm. What should the limit be? Well,
and that's the question. I mean, the ocean giveth and the ocean taketh away. Now, remember, last year the big news story was Shelly Island. It will form and it will deposit sand in areas and actually make those beaches are kind of like a rubber band. They'll stretch out and they'll shrink back. And so trying to find that place along the beach is the big question mark, and whether you're too close or you're not too close. I know my friends down in Kitty Hawk have a house, and it's got a giant sand dune between the ocean and it, and it's built up and it's got a lot of grass, and that helps with erosion. But that, that's a lot of those places need that protection for just such things like this.
We were seeing the live video yesterday when Julie was touring Atlantic Beach with the fire chief. He said the beach, the houses along the beach actually fared better than those inland because of the position that the beach faces. And so I guess it just depends on where that storm comes. Look at that.
And you can see a flooded road there as some trucks are making their way through it.
Looks like a utility truck, doesn't it, from here?
They're a little higher clearance, and also since they look like bucket trucks. So
people want those guys in.
They do, and they know what to look for. The reason we tell people not to drive through flooded areas is not just because you don't know if the road's there. You don't know if there's wires down in that area, and some of those wires could be live, and all of a sudden you're in an electrified pond, and you don't want to be in it. And then look at that, just to the left there, that house. It's missing all its shingles. It's down to the wood on top of it there.
So this is a live view of Topsail Beach from Chopper 11 HD. We're getting a chance to see some of the damage, the debris, the flooded roads, and what exactly happened after Florence.
And the last indication I have is that North Topsail probably will not reopen to residents until Wednesday at the earliest.
And you can see a lot of the roads there covered with water still.
Yeah, officials say they will extend or lessen that deadline as deemed appropriate. The sole basis for the decision is safety, they say. In the meantime, cleanup crews will work to clear roads, and utility teams will work to restore services.
And can we just ask that if you have a vacation or rental property down there and it survived, you might check with the local police and fire departments and see. Julie Wilson's story yesterday in Atlantic Beach, those firefighters, 90% of them had homes that were unlivable, and they were living out of the fire station, and they had sent their families away. So if you have a house in that area, you're coming on the season when rental season really goes down, and you're not going to do a ton of rentals. If you can, and it's in your means, reach out to your local fire or police or EMS in that area and see if they need a place for their people to stay until they can get their lives back in order.
Have you noticed the color of the water?
Yeah, it's just nasty.
It is dark, isn't it?
So much debris, so much nastiness. And also, that's when they declare a state of emergency. One of the things that when Governor Cooper declares a state of emergency, it allows municipalities to pump water into the ocean that they normally couldn't without treating it to try and get it out of neighborhoods. Now you're coming up on the Sound on the right-hand side and the ocean on the left-hand side. And the marshes there on the right-hand side almost match that beautiful water that is usually so crystal down by that area.
And that's what the fire chief at Atlantic Beach was saying yesterday, the color of the water there, because it's usually almost like the Caribbean. So you almost can see through it, and it was very dark there too.
When officials at North Topsail made their first pass after the storm came through, this was a day or two ago, they actually had to stop and turn around because they were in the 200 block of New River Inlet Road, but they determined that the road was just impassable due to all the flooding.
And you can see that roof did not fare well during the storm. Unfortunately, it's down to the wood. A lot of the shingles ripped off. And then also the road on the left-hand side, which is probably the beach road, almost looks like part of the beach is covered in so much sand.
Yeah, I wonder if people watching who have homes there had to leave are seeing any of their own properties. We got so many people to reach out to us yesterday when we were on Atlantic Beach, and I don't know that we could get to everybody, but I know people wanted to be able to see their property, and we just hope that we were able to show some of you your property. We just weren't able to get to everyone, and those we weren't able to get to, we apologize.
Look at all the piles of sand. You can see them over to the right of the road. I just saw a grader that had worked through, and it's been plowing that road open so that the crews can get in. A lot of shingles missing there. A lot of those pools are not that pool color anymore, full of all kinds of dirty water.
Administration officials in North Topsail determined that the roads just are not safe for the general population. So they are open, though, to emergency services, utility workers, and town personnel. And other than that, though, general public, no. You're looking at live pictures from Chopper 11 HD, getting our first view of North Topsail Beach after Florence came.
There's a house that did not fare well.
Oh, wow.
Chapter 11 going into that. Yeah, I mean, and this area could have seen winds in excess of 100 miles an hour. It was right on the north side as that wall came through. The eye wall came through. Yeah, that house didn't make it.
Yeah.
That's a total loss,
I wonder
unfortunately.
if it's more damage from this point on.
Yeah, we haven't
look
seen
at
a
that.
ton. I wonder if we're starting to get into that area that was impacted by the highest winds right now. Because you're seeing, there's a couple roofs in there that are missing things, but that house really took a
it
beating.
did.
Sometimes it has to do with the age of the house. Some of those new houses are built so sturdy and so well and up to the newest standards. But if you have an older house on a beach that was one of the first beach houses in that area, sometimes it just, I can't imagine sitting home right now and you have a house in Topsail and that might be yours.
Look at that underneath that house. You can't see. It's like you see the roof and then it's gone underneath the roof.
Oh yeah, the blue one right there.
Yeah.
I bet there was a deck that they could sit out on, and the deck is completely gone.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And so it's just hanging there. Those 3 houses in that area alone. Now we're in Surf City, so we've moved down to Surf City.
Okay.
And Surf City, at between 20 and 25 inches, there's North Shore Drive. Look at this, is kind of cool technology. So our helicopter actually has an extra computer on board that can detect where it is GPS-wise, and it can actually display roads anywhere it flies. So it bounces a little bit because you know, that's a nice stable picture, but the helicopter is actually bouncing. It's just we have gyroscopes on the camera to help hold it steady, and that's why we don't see it bouncing all over. Sometimes the computer goes with the bounce though, so there on the bottom part where you see North Shore Dry and it's not a rock solid as that picture, that's because the gyroscope doesn't really help the computer decide. They're coming up on New Bern Avenue there, North Shore Drive. And notice the shadows, some sunshine showing up at Surf City. The house is showing a little bit of shadow there.
I remember yesterday we were talking about the sun peeking out in Robeson County, and we were talking about that with meteorologist Steve Stewart, and he said, well, that's not necessarily a good thing because that makes the atmosphere more unstable.
Yes.
And sure enough, not long after that, we started getting tornado warnings for Robeson County.
Yes, now the difference today is we're seeing more of the unstable air move to the north as the system moves away. There's North Topsail Drive, Wilmington Avenue, and North Shore Drive there as Chopper 11 Street Spotter circles around Surf City. Some of our first pictures from that area. Now, unlike Julie, who was able to drive around yesterday, we can't fly to all the neighborhoods. It doesn't really work that way with Chopper 11. So as much as if you start requesting, can you fly over to this or that, we can't really pass that along to the chopper. We're kind of at the mercy of what their flight pattern is. But they're on New River Drive now on the west side of the beach in Surf City. You can see some of those houses too. It looks like on some of the modern houses, the thing that amazes me are the storm shutters. Like in the olden days, or even today still, you'll see people put up the 6x8 press board to cover the windows and protect the windows, and they'll screw that in. But some of those storm shutters are made to go through a lot higher wind than that. Now we're coming up on one of the piers in Surf City that extends out into the ocean. There at South Shore Drive, South River Drive, just down from the water tower there at High Point Avenue and Raleigh Avenue. One of the piers going out into the ocean.
Last night, as we continue to look at these pictures, the mayor of Surf City put out this message. He said that town staff still in the process of performing damage assessments. We understand the urgency for aerial footage. However, at this time, all drone operations are on hold due to helicopter water rescues. This was last night in Surf City. The mayor said that this is Mayor Doug Medlin. He said contractors have had a very successful day starting to clear roadways and repair utilities.
And you just saw it fly over Surf City Pier. Chopper 11 is going to circle back a little bit. Just curious how that fared. We saw some of the piers yesterday in Atlantic Beach. One of the piers, those giant pylons had worked their way in and become a problem. You could see them laying. Julie Wilson was standing there with the fire chief, and it was just huge. But that pier actually not looking.
Well, there's a part at the end that I understand from our producer that is missing.
Oh, okay.
That pier, which happened at the pier yesterday in Atlantic Beach as well, and debris was about almost a half mile down the beach.
Oh, there's usually an octagon there at the end that people fish off. That's the part that's gone. Yep. Yeah, see now as we're zooming in, you can see it from the top. It still looked. But yeah, you can see it just falls off into the ocean there. I'm amazed that that pier did as well as it did as far out as it extends into the water.
Getting our first views of Surf City from the air. since I said 130 mile per hour winds with Florence, Don?
Yeah, we had some reports as that approached. Cat 2 gusts going to 130. Sustained winds were around 100, right around Category 2 as it approached. Thank goodness they weren't sustained winds. I think the damage would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But even the fire chief yesterday in Atlantic Beach said they estimated their wind gusts 120 to 130 in that area.
Surf City is a town in Pender and Onslow counties, and population was about 1,850, and it's located on Topsail Island.
The rest of that pier looks like it's in pretty good shape, better than I thought it would be.
Pender County schools for the whole week are closed because this is just a sampling of some of the damage there in that county.
Look at the erosion there. So my guess is where that black area is, that berm, that extra sand came clear out past that black area, and that the water just pounding on there really eroded it away.
All right, so pretty interesting stuff.
All right.
Chopper 11 HD.
Indeed. Okay, we're going to go to Julie Wilson now. Okay, she's got some video of a school bus that went through some water or tried to make a decision about whether to go through a flooded area. Julie.
Is that the bus?
What's going on there?
Yeah, hey, John and Barbara. Well, as you can see, there's a school bus sitting right here. We're told this is part of Durham Public Schools. In fact, that's what it says there right below North Carolina Public Schools. Got to give props to this school bus driver who saw Mud Creek right down here. Jeff, if you want to zoom in on what that looks like here on Pickett Road, and opted to not cross. Smart decision. Turned around and got stuck here just into someone's kind of ditch. Some folks out here have been watching this happen. She said that she's been out here maybe about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. I was told that no one was hurt, but official on that bus there kind of didn't want to say much more. She kind of shooed me away when I asked if the school bus driver was turning around just to kind of confirm things, and that is pretty evident that that's what's happening. You can see the mud there flipped up on the back of the school bus. So I've tweeted out this photo. That's out right now. I am told that the kids are safe. Right now it looks like they're just waiting on a tow truck to get this bus out of here. It is closed in this direction and in the opposite direction, not just because there's a bus here, but because that water is very dangerous to cross just looking at it. That does not look good, that water there. So this bus driver here making a very smart decision for her kids on board of this bus here with Durham Public Schools. Now the wait begins to get this bus up and out of this ditch here on Pickett. John and Barbara.
Julie, thank you. Now, that is not the bus that we showed you earlier that a viewer shot on home video.
No, that one was
old
from
NC10.
Durham. But we do have one, and this was from Orange County Schools that a viewer sent in. We're going to try to get that video up for you to show you that there was, and I don't know what the situation was, but this was this morning. And this is just a really quick video, but you're seeing this Orange County school bus driving through a significant amount of rain on that road. And it looks like they're in a neighborhood. So, wow.
The bus did make it through, but very dangerous here.
Yeah.
This video from Diane Rabelais, who put it up on Twitter and gave us permission to run it.
Well, from the governor on down, we have heard all week, turn around, don't drown. And I don't know what happened here beforehand. Maybe maybe there was no other choice. I'm not sure, but
we don't know if there are any kids on the bus or what
know.
school it's connected to. But this was taken in Orange County, old NC10 this morning.
Wow. Okay.
All
Are
right.
we going to Anthony Wilson now?
Anthony had been trying to get to Hoke County, but he had some difficulty because he ran into some flooded roads in the Hope Mills area.
Yeah.
Anthony, are you with us now?
Still in Hope Mills, John, and want to show you some of the reasons why we can't get out of this town today. Check it out. This is one of many roads that are flooded. Look and listen. I'm going to just let you hear the sound of the rushing water. Now, ordinarily, that would be kind of peaceful, but this is not what you want to see if you're trying to get around in this town. We spoke with the town manager earlier, and she told us that this is not the first time that this area has flooded. She's urging people, as we've been saying for the past few days, to stay off the road unless you are essential personnel. And certainly when you see a situation like this, you have to avoid it, because look on the other side there. There's a truck wisely turning around, because that truck, even though it has high ground clearance, presumably also has a pretty heavy load, And all you need to do is get stuck on this road with that water rushing by, and you've got a real big problem. And of course, if you've been watching our coverage for the past few days, I'm going to remind you again of the woman who was in Goldsboro who drove through water. It wasn't rushing like this, but it was certainly standing water on the road, drove out there in a hurry, and then in the middle of the water, her car quit. She had to be rescued. So this is another reminder. And as Jeff continues to pan, can you go to your left, please, Jeff? Because one more thing that Melissa Adams, the town manager, pointed out here is what you're seeing here now. That is, and she confirmed, one of the utility lines for the town of Hope Mills. And it is not active right now, luckily, but she said if it were, that could be a real problem. And that's the kind of thing that you could run into if you're fooling around here driving through water. I mean, obviously you don't want to get hurt or killed. And a lot of people have been out here using their smartphones and taking pictures, being sightseers. You see some of the cars up there. I think some of those are probably town cars and police. Yeah, those are actual first responders. They have a reason to be here, and you also see the markers there to prevent people from coming down here in their vehicles. We got the okay, again, from the town manager to stand this close to the water to show you what you could face if you were out here. But that said, I'm standing on, pan down here, Jeff. This is pavement, and if you just go to camera left, Jeff, just show them where the water comes up on the pavement right over there. And it quickly gets deep, and you see it there rushing past the roadbed, rushing in a hurry, and going fast enough that if you were in a car, I've got a small Honda sedan, not only would you get stuck, you could possibly get swept away. And that's no joke. That's a frightening situation to be in. Why expose yourself to that if you can possibly avoid it? Looking again, on the other side of this road, you see people who are driving, hopefully not trying to drive through here. Let's see what happens. I believe that person is probably another sightseer. And yes, the truck is turning around, or at least going toward that driveway, and someone walking the dog from a safe distance. It's okay to look at this, but when you drive, and John, you mentioned that we've been trying to get out of town most of the morning here, trying to get to Hope County. We have tried several potential routes out of town, out of Hope Mills, and usually sooner or later we run into a situation like this, a flooded out road. They've got flash flood warnings up for today in Hope Mills. The town manager says they hope this recedes. She did not try to guess or estimate when it might, but their hope is that it does, because this water, she says, is flowing from a dam upstream from here. This creek, usually not this ferocious, but all it takes, as we've said many times, is 2 inches of water to compromise you to the point where you could be in a position to call for help. Hopefully there'll be some first responders around to help you, but they're also very busy, as you notice if you're watching our coverage all over the area. They are busy trying to keep people who really are in situations where their lives are in danger, to get them out of danger. So don't give them more work. You stay home, watch it on television, watch us on social media. We're also online. If you don't have any power, hopefully your mobile devices are charged. Ours, coincidentally, are running out of juice. We're going to have to recharge them when we finish this live shot. But keep your eyes and your ears on ABC11, all our social media platforms, and on the air. We'll make sure that you see what's out here. Don't bother to come out here and take pictures yourself until the potential danger is past. John and Barbara.
Anthony Wilson in Cumberland County, thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Watching the situation.
It's been an incredible number of days.
We've just rewritten the history books.
The Coast Guard rescuing flood victims, asking residents to please seek higher ground.
I downloaded the app and I've been following all of your team.
Water levels continue to rise.
Up until Floyd, we had never seen anything of this nature.
I could be dead. It was that close.
Band after band of very heavy rain.
We got each other, and we're going to go pull through.
We knew we had to go above and beyond.
Everybody pulls together and just makes it through this together.
You're watching ABC11 Eyewitness News.
And you are looking at live pictures from Chopper 11 HD of Topsail Beach. And this is near the end of Topsail Beach. And this is our first look at the conditions after Hurricane Florence came through. 130-mile-per-hour winds when she hit this area. And now you're seeing the color of the water. It's all stirred up. and dark, and we've seen damage to homes and flooded roadways. We've actually seen some utility crews in the area trying to get the lights back on at Topsail Beach.
North Topsail is not open to the general public right now. It is open to emergency workers and those people trying to restore power. They expect it perhaps to open to residents Wednesday at the earliest.
I was just talking with our producer. So they're at the end of it now at Topsail. They're headed south. He said they were seeing mainly superficial damage now. They had gotten kind of past where they were seeing the heavy damage there, and they are flying south now toward Wilmington and trying to get over Wilmington. And you know they'll see, I mean, that whole city was pretty much cut off. Some of what you were seeing right there, I had a buddy of mine who's a meteorologist who happened to be watching our video from out of state. He said, not that I should pass on that it was wave erosion. So basically what was happening on those extra, you know, you go out on those extra big piles of sand and it doesn't all just wash away once, but the pounding it takes from just that constant wind and those high waves, it just eats away at all of that. And really, it almost makes like a cliff in that area. It's not just because it really eats into it as high as those waves are going. So they saw a lot of that beach erosion and that wave erosion in Topsail and in Surf City.
It's going to be interesting when they get to Wilmington to see what it looks like in Wrightsville Beach, because it's just, they've had so many power outages, flooded roads, and Kim Diener has been telling people don't try to get there because it's almost impossible. There's so many road closures, and gosh, I-40 has been blocked and I-95 is blocked, and it's just going to be interesting to see what it looks like from an aerial view.
Yeah, our Anna Rivera has been reporting there since last Monday as the storm was approaching, and she and photographers Jim Schumacher are basically cut off.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been staying in a hotel that hasn't had power for days.
Remember, all the North Carolina barrier islands were evacuated, or at least the evacuation order was mandatory for all the barrier islands a few days ago before the storm hit. And you can see why from some of the tremendous erosion. What did you call it?
Wave erosion.
Wave erosion. It's from the wave action as it slams into that. It just eats away at it. And the funny thing is, it will deposit that sand in other areas. The Shelley Island that showed up last year, Ginger Z did a live hit from that for Good Morning America. It was called that because a child visiting with his parents saw so many shells on it. That actually formed as that sand moved down the Carolina coastline and deposited into that island. And then another storm came through. I believe it was a nor'easter, a winter storm, actually ate away the island, and the island disappeared.
Yeah, they were saying don't get too comfortable and too accustomed to it because it might not stay. We did have a crew from our sister station in Houston who had been reporting for us at the storm. Ted Oberg and his photographer, they did get back from Wilmington yesterday, but they said it took them 6 hours
to get
back to Raleigh.
To Raleigh.
And it took them 6 hours to do it. So, you know, I mean, I guess you can if you want to, but it's going to take you 3 times as long.
Well, and the other thing you might run into down there is gas stations out of gas.
Yes.
So to say you get there, you may not be able to get anywhere.
The lines are really, really long.
Oh my goodness, especially like what New Bern yesterday, Julie Wilson was there, and it's just, some people after waiting for hours were turned away because the stations ran out of gas.
By the way, if you tuned in to watch Rachel Ray, go to our sister station, well, I won't call it that, it's our digital channel 11.2 or Spectrum 1240. And
in the Sandhills, it's 1200. So some people Spectrum 1240, and the Sandhills 1200.
We're going to continue to show you these pictures from Chopper 11.
Now approaching Figure 8 Island. So this is south of Topsail there. That's Figure 8 Island. And you know, those places can be a great place to vacation if you really want to get away from it all. But they also become very cut off in storms like this, and you can see why they are evacuated. It looks like there's one road in and out of Figure 8 Island.
And it's hard to see. The closer we get, we may be able to see the conditions on the roads, but it looks like some of those roads are covered.
Well, and this is right in the area where the eye wall moved along. So that eye wall came in. We're flying, basically Chopper 11 and Street Spotter are flying right along the path that that Florence took as it approached, because it was coming due west, and then it got to our coastline and it turned off to the south and west. And then this eye wall, the highest intensity winds just ran right down from Topsail all the way down Figure 8 Island, and then it ended up officially making landfall near Wilmington. But this is the area that took the brunt of the highest winds. Now, thank goodness the winds had gone down, sustained winds had gone down to about 100, 105, but gusts were still in the 115 to 120, 130 mile an hour range.
It's hard to see from up high if there's any damage. It doesn't really look too extreme at this point, but I can't see close enough.
And plus the camera on this helicopter can see a long ways away. I mean, it can really zoom in from a far distance. So we may be looking at this and the helicopter's still not there yet. Usually as they get over it, then it'll zoom in more and give us some tighter shots. And sometimes the helicopter will dial in and listen to us, and sometimes they're not able to listen to what we're saying, depending on their location.
Yeah, thanks so much to Chopper 11 HD for showing us our first views, aerial views of Surf City, Topsail Island, and now Figure 8 Island. It's gosh, so many people have been wanting to see the conditions of the beaches where they haven't been able to physically get into yet.
And may not be able to till later this week or even next week in spots.
And those local municipalities and counties along the coast, they spend millions and millions of dollars in beach renourishment to build the sand back up after they have these storms, hurricanes, tropical storms, even nor'easters, because the waves and the wind just get huge chunks of sand and take it out of the coast.
They had just done that at our beach. We went to the Outer Banks this year, and my kids kept looking for the big shells that sometimes you find, and they kept finding smaller shells. And you could literally see a line because they go out about a mile or so and they suck up all that sand and they pump it back in, and they get all the stuff that washes out there. And that's what you see as they do this beach renourishment, but it costs millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah, and it's controversial because there's some who say, you know, this is the natural thing that happens with oceanfront property and we need to let it go. Others say, no, people want to live there, they're willing to put up the money for it, and so it's a debate that goes on and on.
Yes, it does. Okay. So again,
where are we now? We're still Figure 8 Island? Yeah, okay, apparently so. All right.
And you can see how thin this island is. I mean, you've got the intercoastal waterway that would be off to the east, but as you see the sound side on the right-hand side there, and on the left-hand side you get that ocean side, and there's not much land that's just above sea level. And that's why they have to build those houses so high and on stilts. I bet there was flooding in this area all the way across the sound at one point with the wind pushing that water in.
Do you think we could get them to zoom in a little bit? Maybe we could see some of the roadways and see if some of the homes have any kind of damage.
And if
okay, this is near the Figure 8 Island Yacht Club.
And we'll let you in on a little inside baseball here. So the way it works is we've got the pilot and the photographer up there flying along, but they're not listening to us. They actually speak to our producers who are in a booth, 100 miles away from where they're flying, and then the producers relay messages to them. So as John and Barbara ask for, can we look at this or that, it doesn't just go to the pilot and the photographer. They actually have to go to our producer, and then our producer forwards it to them through the airways, just like, and the whole time the pilot is talking with air traffic control and maintaining air safety as well, because they're flying a full-size aircraft through there, and you can see that area usually spotted probably with some pretty big boats.
Yes, this is the marina at the yacht club, and we're going to try to get closer to this area to see. You don't see a lot of boats out. I see one boat.
One.
Yeah, Figure 8 Island is just north of Wrightsville Beach. Of course, it's a barrier island. It's known, it says here, I'm looking at the Wikipedia, as an affluent summer colony and vacation destination. So it's a nice place to visit when the weather is nice.
And the homes, as far as we can see, it doesn't look like there is a lot of damage, at least from this vantage point.
Yeah, we are pretty high up, but from
here...
here...
Yeah, but you can usually spot, I was thinking the same thing, Barbara.
Lead flooded roads, and
you can spot those flooded roads. You can see the bald spots that show up on top of the houses because the shingles are ripped away. Now, my guess is in this area, this is a lot of newer construction built to better hurricane standards than some of the older construction was. And sometimes that's all that matters for a house. When was it built? If it was built more recently, it's built to much higher standards, zooming in down toward the tennis courts there at the yacht club. And those roofs actually look pretty, there's a helicopter touring the area as well. You can see Chopper 11 focused on a lower altitude helicopter. They're of course in communications with the air traffic control. to keep everybody away from everybody and play nice. You don't want to be in the same airspace.
I don't think I've ever seen chopper level over another helicopter this close.
Well, and sometimes, especially I know with police helicopters, sheriff's helicopters, public service helicopters are given the right of way in most cases, so they'll get the lower
looks
altitude.
like a little bit of damage right there to that tennis court right on the corner. Looks like a little bit of damage there.
You can see.
So the closer we get, we may be able to see a little bit more of what Florence left behind.
That helicopter's not far off the deck. It's pretty close looking at the shadow there.
Figure 8 is only accessible by a single bridge that crosses the Intracoastal Waterway. It's a rumored haven for celebrities and wealthy CEOs and folks like that.
No, I'm going to guess that boat didn't float there.
Probably not.
Didn't drive there. But is it one? Oh, no, it's on a trailer, so it could have been deposited there.
Okay.
Well, Figure 8 is part of New Hanover County, and also in New Hanover County is Anna Rivera. She is in Wilmington, but she has an interview as we continue to watch these live pictures from Chopper 11. So, Anna?
So this is an absolutely beautiful day. This is the first time we've seen the sun in a while, so we're very excited, and so are a lot of people trying to get out of the house and get those supplies that they've run out of, including gas. Take a look at this line. This is such a long line. And this is just one of them. So we are on at a BP on Military Cutoff, and this line wraps all the way to Edgewood, which if you're, this is going toward Mayfair. So this is one of those areas that if you come visit Wilmington, you know this area very well. And I've been chatting with people who have been here all morning. Some people saying they've been here since 5:45. And so I just talked to the people in the inside of this BP, and they say that they do have gas. They're just checking it to make sure no water has gotten inside. And I met my friend Mike here, who's been waiting for about an hour and a half now.
Yep, close to 2 hours. So I don't want to give up now.
So why today? Why did you decide to come out today?
Need to get the generator back running, get the refrigerator back going, coffee maker, the important stuff in life.
Why did you decide to come to this one?
I heard it on the radio that it was open, and I just live right down the street, so I shot down here, and I thought it'd be a little quicker than this, but I guess they're checking.
And did you check other gas stations?
I did. One closer to our house was supposed to be pumping gas this morning, but the line just didn't move for about a half an hour, so I left that after I heard gas was down here. So now I'm fourth in line.
Were you surprised to see how quickly things are opening back up?
I don't see things opening back up very quickly.
To see this gas station opening up so quickly.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any gas yet, so as soon as I see some gas, I'll be happy.
How long are you going to wait?
I got 3/4 of a tank in my truck, so I can wait another hour or so, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah, and you got the air on now, what you said?
Yeah, so now I'm enjoying some AC, which I hadn't had at the house, you know, so just need to get the refrigerator back running. I had enough gas to last me through Sunday. We've been without power since Wednesday. And a Good Samaritan came by and gave me 5 gallons last night, so we got the refrigerator back going, and just hate to lose all that food, you know.
How has this storm, you've lived here for some time?
28 years.
Yeah, how has this storm compared to others?
Fran was the only one I could really compare it to, and Floyd was similar flooding wise. I haven't really seen the news this morning as far as the river cresting, but I heard it's going to be pretty bad coming through Fayetteville and downtown Wilmington.
Is this, I mean, when we drive down this road, we think this is insane to see these gas lines. For you, were you surprised to see it like this?
Yes. But as soon as someone said it on the radio, I knew everyone was going to shoot here, so the disc jockeys are keeping everyone informed really well on what's opening and what roads are passable, but I'm just staying kind of close to home.
Why are you staying close to home?
I don't want to get trapped out there. My wife's here and keep an eye on her, my dogs.
I know that feeling. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Stay safe. So that's been the story pretty much. Everyone we're talking to, they're going to sit here and they're going to wait and they're going to get those essentials that they've been needing for the last couple of days, because most of Wilmington is still without power at this point. So a lot of people just trying to get out while they can, and especially try to enjoy this weather. A lot of people said, I don't mind waiting outside because it is so beautiful today after being cooped up with all this rain and everything. So we're going to stick around, kind of check things out for a little bit longer, and we're going to send it back to you, John and Barbara.
Hey, Anna, is that particular gas station limiting people to the amount of like a dollar figure that they can purchase at this point?
No, so I actually, when I talked to Mike earlier, he said he brought his tanks as well, so he's going to fill up. They're not limiting. They say they have plenty of gas. They are just having an issue. They're nervous that water got into their gas pumps, and they said they don't want to sell bad gas. Some other people, though, think that they may not have power to get their pumps working. So they're trying to figure out, they're trying to call someone in to do that. So definitely going to be a long day for them and a long process, but we'll see. Wow. People are willing to wait.
Yeah, they are. Anna Rivera live in Wilmington. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, earlier.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Durham Public School officials taking some heat for not canceling schools today. We've been hearing from the school system this morning, and we got some information, another update from them about the situation. Andrea Blandford in the Breaking News Center. What can you tell us?
Amazing to see the city of Wilmington facing so many challenges this morning, and here in Durham facing many challenges as well. Administrators are telling us that they're continuing to assess the weather conditions and road safety. Any student absences today will be excused. They say all students who have already arrived at school this morning are safe and sound. That's the latest update that we've gotten from Durham Public Schools. Earlier this morning, the district told us that they had been tracking conditions since 3:30 this morning, and they had every indication that this was a good day to open school, and that when conditions began to deteriorate, well, buses, they were already rolling. Of course, we've been tracking tornado warnings here and several flooded roads across Durham, water rescues on major roads across the Bull City so far today. Julie Wilson, you just saw, was covering a school bus, a Durham public school bus that had decided to turn around instead of crossing through one flooded street, but ended up with its back tires stuck in a ditch. So just one example that we are continuing to track today, and we'll keep our eye on the changing conditions. Guys?
All right, Andrea, thank you. Want to go back to Chopper 11 HD. We have now over Wrightsville Beach and the famous Johnny Mercer Pier, taking a live look at the damage along our coast. We have already seen Topsail, we've seen Surf City, we went over Figure 8, and now we are at Wrightsville Beach to see what Florence left behind.
I'm looking at an assessment from the Charlotte Observer reporter Stephen Little. He has listed a bunch of beaches on North Carolina coasts, and he says for Wrightsville Beach, the drawbridge to the town remains closed. Many roads are reported to be impassable. There is no word as to when residents will be permitted re-entry. We heard the police chief at Wrightsville Beach say over the weekend that with their assessment, things did not look as bad as they thought that they might be. So hopefully they can get folks back onto the island very soon.
Because we just talked to Anna Rivera, and there are people waiting in long lines just to get gasoline, and the gas station worried about having water in their gas, and they didn't want to sell bad gas. I mean, with all of the power outages there, the road closures, the flooding, and then the people just going through a hard time, it looks like at least that Johnny Mercer Pier didn't fare too terribly bad.
Also, I just got a notification from the National Weather Service up in Person County, near Claypool Road and 501. There's a possible dam breach of a private pond up there. It could flood several homes along 501 in Person County near Claypool Road. So we're keeping an eye on that. The news department is checking on that right now, but that just came through the National Weather Service in Person County. And now we're flying down Wrightsville Beach.
Yeah. And again, it's hard when we're this high to see close up some of these homes. I mean, some areas that we've seen, you can already tell that the roads are flooded over. Yeah. But like Figure 8, we had to really get close to see if there was any damage there.
Surf City had road graders working the roads right near the beach just to clear sand out so the utility trucks could get in.
Chopper is now going to head toward Wilmington, and so we'll get those pictures and see what the Port City looks like from the air. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have those views for you when we come back.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to our special coverage, continuous coverage of now Tropical Depression Florence continues. We have been taking a live view over the coast. We've seen Surf City, we've seen Topsail, we've seen Figure Eight Island, and then the last one we saw Wrightsville Beach. And so many people want to know what it looks like now that Florence is out of there.
Yeah, and our pilot is making his way to Wilmington. We'll have that coming up in just a bit. Right now, let's talk about the warnings we have out there. We're going to talk weather for a few minutes because we do have flash flood warnings in effect. They now extend up into Mecklenburg County. I just have the North Carolina counties on here, but Mecklenburg County, Vance County now under a flash flood warning, as well as northern Granville County, Person County, Durham, Orange, Chatham, southwestern Wake, Lee County, Moore County, Hoke, Harnett, Cumberland, Sampson County. You'll notice that flash flood warning was dropped for Wayne County, so that's good news. Getting out of the flash flood warning, still seeing flooding, but you're not in imminent danger. And that extends the flash flood warning for Sampson, Cumberland, Bladen, and Robeson counties continues as we go into the afternoon. I just updated this with the latest numbers coming into the Weather Center. By the way, the Eno River at Durham is flooding right now, so we have to watch for that from the 4.5 inches of rain we saw last night. I don't have a graphic made for it yet, but Eno River, if you live along that in eastern Orange County or you live along it in Durham County, there is flooding going on both in Durham and also at Huckleberry, the Eno River in flood stage. In the Cape Fear, expected to go to 51. It is at 51. This is the latest update now, 51.4 feet. Expected to still climb another 10 feet higher through Tuesday. The Little River at Manchester is at 32 feet, expected to crest at 34 later on today, but it is in flood stage. In the Haw River and Deep River, Haw near Bynum, and also the Haw River at Haw River in Alamance County in flood stage. Near Bynum, it's at 13 feet, expected to crest tomorrow. Almost 16 feet. Moncure, 9 feet. The Deep River at Moncure now, flood stage is at 9 feet. It's now at 13.8 feet, expected to get near 16 feet. Neuse River at Smithfield is cresting right now at 18.9 feet. Should start heading down by tomorrow in Smithfield. At Goldsboro, it's now at 24, but it will continue to rise slowly, not expected to crest until Wednesday, so a long ways to go on that one. The Cape Fear at Lillington has gone up another foot. It's now up to 18.7 feet, expected to crest tomorrow at 24 feet. Lumberton, 13 feet. Now it's at 24 feet, so it's 11 feet above flood stage, expected to go to 24.3 feet. Heavy rain falling through Chase City and Clarksville, Virginia. Live look at First Alert Doppler, and we do have thunderstorm activity over Clarksville and Chase City moving to the north. It is not severe. It is the same storm that did produce severe weather down here, so we are watching that closely. Also, this one trekking up toward Virgilina east of Roxborough. We have reports of flooding in Person County. Again, that private pond near 501 possibly breached, so we're watching for that possible flooding. We're keeping an eye on that. Our news department's checking on that. We have this line of showers that extends now into northern Durham County. Fortunately, it's over areas that have already seen rain, and it's holding together and will continue to track up to the north. And then I go down into Sampson County, Taylor's Bridge to Clinton. They want to dry out there so bad. They've had over 2 feet of rain in that area, and unfortunately getting another quick 1/4 of an inch in spots. Live look into downtown Raleigh. Temperature right now is at 78, 75. The dew point, 90% humidity. So humid out there. Even if we get sunshine today, it's just going to be sticky and nasty and gross. Later this week, we should start to see the humidity go down a bit. Winds are out of the south at 13 miles an hour. Looking live into Durham at 10:30 this morning, it's 78 degrees. 4.5 inches of rain since midnight. We got about 3 of those inches over a 2-hour period on our sensor there. Looking at Florence, continuing to spin, still bringing some rainfall along this kind of tail end of it. Little piece of energy down here as well. They see the sunshine in Wilmington right now, but Anna Rivera, if you're listening, get out your raincoat. Unfortunately, I think you'll see another shower pass through in the next hour or so. And we look back to the west. Here's the center of circulation. What used to be Florence is still working its way through eastern Kentucky and West Virginia. That's going to lift up through Pennsylvania and bring some heavy rainfall to the Appalachian Mountains up there. Closer to home, we look at what's happening with the First Alert Predictor forecast model by this afternoon. We'll see one line kind of forming out here still. I think a lot of folks will see some sunshine. It'll heat up today with the heat, the humidity, and the instability, though. You will see some showers bloom as we go through the afternoon. Then as we go through tonight into tomorrow, skies do clear, and we finally see some improvement on your Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, though, with a little bit of instability working through. We have the possibility of an isolated shower again firing tomorrow afternoon, but the chance is getting better and better for more drying time, and that drying time continues to work in as we head through the week. Your forecast looks like this. For today, we'll see those temperatures across the region in the mid-70s. Cloudy skies, scattered showers. By lunchtime, we'll get near 80 degrees. Your 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather tomorrow, 87 degrees. Just an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. Most places staying dry. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 86. Thursday, 84. Friday, 86. Saturday and Sunday, as we approach the first day of fall and the first full day of fall on Sunday, temperatures still in the upper 80s. Time for weather and traffic together. For that, we go to Kim Diener.
Thank you, Don, and good morning. You showed the latest radar, and that radar showing all of that rain and precipitation making its way out of North Carolina, and that means good news. So things are going to begin to settle down, not just across the state, but also across the Durham area and the Chapel Hill area where we've seen so much flooding this morning. We're going to start with the big view and then narrow it down to Durham and Chapel Hill in just a moment. So I-40 still closed because of Hurricane Florence and flooding from NC 24 right there at that Warsaw exit all the way down to US 117 near Carroll. There is virtually no way into Wilmington right now. I'm sure someone will find a way, but it's going to take you a long time to get there, and you're going to deal with some flooded roads. That was Steve, our assignment editor. All right, so I-95 is still closed from NC 82, which is just north of Fayetteville near the Dunn area, all the way up to US 64. The only difference from yesterday to today on I-95 is that now you can navigate I-95 from 64. So they just allowed you that little bit of an opening on the northbound lanes of I-95. So that's the only difference from yesterday. If you need to get into Fayetteville, you're not going to be able to use I-95. You want to take 401. 401 takes you down through Lillington. You're going to need to be aware of that because Lillington, the Cape Fear River is expected to flood in Lillington, but you can always use the alternate map, alternate route, and I have that posted on the web. So you can just go to ABC11.com and that information's there. So here we're going to go into Durham. We're going to start with all the flooding we've had this morning. These are official and they're still pending according to the DOT. So flooding right now, Coal Mill Road near I-85 is closed because of the high water. Fletcher's Chapel Hill Road closed in both directions. That will remain the case until the flooding goes down. Marley Drive is also closed in both directions. US 15501 northbound is closed near Chapel Hill Road, and then we go all the way over into Carborough. We have standing water on Highway 54, business at Greensboro Street. This came in early this morning, but sometimes it takes a little while for that standing water to finally get out of the way so that you can move in that area. We also have flooding in Chapel Hill. Eubanks Road is closed both directions near Millhouse Road, so be aware of that. And then we go into Raleigh where we have Avent Ferry Road is still flooded between Crest Road and Western Boulevard, and that's also out of the DOT. So that's the last place. Other than that, I'm just happy to say it may be getting a little bit better, John.
All right, we'll take that good news. Thank you, Kim Diener. Morgan Norwood has moved to the Crown Coliseum in the Fayetteville area. And Morgan, you're with some, is it National Guard troops who are about to go out?
Yeah, we're actually with Task Force 60, so it's not just National Guard, it's Army, pretty much every military branch involved in the Hurricane Florence relief efforts. I'll tell you what they're going to be doing. They're going to be taking out these high water vehicles. You can put anything in these, supplies, troops, anything that you can that you want to throw in here, and they're going to be headed out to some of the flood-prone areas here in Fayetteville and across the Sandhills. Now, we were at a flood-prone area earlier. We were showing you the Brook Ridge subdivision. Producers say they have that video, so I want to talk about that right now. This place flooded during Hurricane Matthew, and as you can see right now, that place is still flooded today, and all of those homes underwater. Okay, so we don't have that video. Sorry about that. We'll get that for you next time around. But those are the areas that they're going to be headed into. It's unclear right now if they're going to be doing any water rescue missions, but again, they're prepared with these high rescue vehicles here. So they may be dropping off supplies. They may be dropping off troops. They may be dropping off FEMA, things like that. So of course, we're going to head out with them in the convoy in about 10-15 minutes, and we're going to be following behind them as well. So we'll catch that for you live. It should be pretty cool. We'll check back in with you in a few.
Morgan Norwood in Fayetteville at the Crown Coliseum. Thank you very much. Let's go back to our live aerials from Chopper 11 HD. Been showing the coastline there at New Hanover County. That coastline took a battering. That wasn't where, well, it was where pretty much where Florence rolled in a few days ago with winds well over 100 miles per hour. eating up that coastline. That's Carolina Beach, and that is part of what they call Pleasure Island, Carolina Beach and Curie Beach. And I do have some news to report about that. The Snows Cut Bridge, which leads from Wilmington to Pleasure Island, is going to reopen at noon today, from noon until 8. It will be open for residents and business owners there, so that's a sign of progress.
That is extensive flooding, though.
Yes, it is.
Not sure if that's a parking lot or what it is, but you can see the extensive flooding over that road there, around the houses. Wow, that is extensive. And you can see some of the, okay, so now we've got the street spotter. You can see the addresses and the streets. That's Lake Park Boulevard that is covered with water. Sumter Avenue, Todd's Cleaners right there. It's got just some flooding in the parking lot, and you can see that house. It's A&G Barbecue and Chicken. It looks like that's a restaurant there that took on some damage. Those look like maybe some picnic tables in the front that are, maybe they were overturned before that happened. I don't know, maybe after, but it looks like that restaurant got some damage. And if we can go back in, we can see where the streets are. Again, that's Sumter Avenue right there that is flooded with water off of South Lake Park Drive.
Carolina Beach officials say that they're going to be open for residents and business owners until 8 o'clock tonight. Okay. But right now we need to go back to meteorologist Don Schwinneker.
It's got a tornado warning.
Yeah, we do, guys, and we serve a lot of counties in our area, and I know that Carolina Beach video is so important to you, so we're going to get this warning out. We're going to get people warned, and then we'll get back to that Carolina Beach video in just a minute. National Weather Service out of Wakefield, Virginia, notifying us of a tornado warning now in effect for Mecklenburg County in southern Virginia. This is between Clarksville and Chase City. I've got live first alert Doppler zoomed in now. This starts to get at the edge of our radar, so it's not as accurate for us here, if I'm being totally honest with you, but we still can see some rotation north of Boynton as we go Boynton to Chase City, and this is moving off to the north. You can see the purple box there. This National Weather Service let me read you the data coming to us out of Lunenburg and Mecklenburg County in Virginia at 10:27. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Boynton. That's that rotation right there. It is moving off 7 miles south of Chase City, and it's moving north at 25 miles an hour. So Chase City, you need to be bracing as this storm approaches. Again, this is our northernmost county in our viewing area. Live look at first alert Doppler. It's kind of hard to see because you're getting toward the edges of our radar, and I don't have our radar configured right now for up in Wakefield, Virginia. Closest radar we can go is with our live radar and our Raleigh radar at the moment. We did have to configure our radars for the coast, so that's why we're not looking at the Wakefield, Virginia, but still gives us an idea where this is. Between Chase City, Boynton, a tornado warning now north of Clarksville. If you're in Clarksville, you're fine. If you're on the northwest side of Boynton, you're okay. But as you go toward Chase City, that's where we're seeing this. Just getting another report out of there. A radar confirmed tornado now located over Chase City, moving north at 55. Radar confirmed tornado now located over Chase City, moving north at 55 miles per hour. That is from the Wakefield National Weather Service office. And we have one county in their CWA. It's what the National Weather Service calls their county warning area. We have one of their counties in our viewing area, our DMA, designated market area, and that is this area right here from Boynton to Chase City. Let me switch over to the SRV. We'll look and see if we can pick up any more velocities in that area. Okay, so we are seeing it's a little bit, there's some gray area in there, and so what's happening is as the radar beam goes out, it goes up into the atmosphere, and sometimes it can lose some data. The radar is actually located down here by us, and it's shooting a long ways. As a matter of fact, this is from our radar site. We can actually check it out and see the radar site is down here. You're looking at a radar almost 75 miles away. So with that, the curve of the Earth will bend that beam a little up into the atmosphere, but still, even bending up into the atmosphere, we can see the rotation on this as it works through Mecklenburg County right now. South of Chase City, north of Boynton. Let's see if we can get a movement on this. It's tracking off to the north and to the west. right there, and there is rotation in the atmosphere. You can kind of see as I move it quickly, you can kind of see how it rotates around on an axis. That's where that possible tornado would be in the Boynton area. I'm going to shut the lightning off real quick because sometimes it'll tend to obscure things. So let's shut your lightning data off there. Let's go into areas that may be affected because I know people watch us up there. So that's Virginia Highway 47 near Drapersville and Whiteman and Gregory Corner and Old Cox Road, Lone Oak Road in the area. Old Cox Road there to the south. We go north, Sweetwater Lane, Draper Road, Gregory Corner, Virginia, Whiteman Road, Taylor Lane, Old Cox Road, Meadows Road, and Cawley Lane, all in Mecklenburg County in Virginia as this tornado warning continues to press through. In the northern part of our viewing area, to give you an idea where this is, we've got this tornado warning up there. Here's Raleigh down to the south. So this is located 75 miles as the crow flies to the north of us. It's our northernmost county, but I know we've got several viewers who watch us up there, report in, send us pictures, and it's those people we're warning right now south of Chase City. Chase City, you should be in your tornado shelter just in case this thing were to veer. It's mainly south of Chase City and Boynton as it slides up to the north. We'll switch back to our actual radar picture right now, and we'll show you the rain that's working through. Very heavy rainfall going on. Let me switch modes on the radar, and we'll look at our reflectivity is what it's called. That's when we look at rain versus the wind, and it's Boynton and into Chase City. And the fact that let's rewind this and take a look a little bit. Yeah, the fact that well, it's getting toward the edge of the radar. It is so hard to tell once it gets out to that point what we're actually picking up there from this far out, but we can see the spin at least in the atmosphere, and we can, it's more of a broad area. Normally we'd be able to narrow it down to street by street, but as you're getting out into this point, that is pressing off north. So Clarksville, you're in the clear now. Boynton, you're almost in the clear from this as it pushes on through. As a matter of fact, I think if you're in Boynton right now, you're probably fine, but as you go up into Chase City, that's the area we're watching right now as that gets closer. Let's see if there's any hail showing up in this too. We'll use what's called our hail scope, and we'll take a look. It erases the radar and looks underneath, and you can see no radar, but sometimes it'll show some orange, and we're not, oh yeah, there is some here to the south. So let's move this map to the south. We'll slide down here north of Boynton. It was actually detecting a possible amount, pea-size hail. So pea-size hail north of Boynton actually showing up. The radar can actually measure what kind of hail might be in that area right now. And so that's what we'd be looking at this north of Boynton. If you live in that area north of Boynton as this moves on up to the north, I'm going to switch over to our radar. It's kind of at the edge of our radar too, but sometimes our radar can detect a little bit faster how far away this thing is or how far it's moving. So let's switch over. Now it's matching up. See, it's about the same. It's very close. We're watching the latest updates from the National Weather Service and their radar as well. The rainfall rate at about a ½ inch per hour. So it's raining again here in Durham. I can hear it over us. Let's zoom it out and check the rest of the region right now. We'll see if we've got any other areas of concern we need to be watching for as these showers work through. Again, if you're just joining us, it's 10:40. We're monitoring a tornado warning in effect now for Mecklenburg County in the northern part of our viewing area. We're also seeing that heavier line of rain still continue to move through Granville County, Vance County, and on down into Durham County at this hour. Adding to it, I think by the time we're done, we might be close to 5 inches of rain in one day in Durham on our weather station. That's just us reporting here and watching our rain gauge, and whew, that's a lot of rainfall. We slide north. We've had some reports out of Person County. I do want to show this one. This one was from the National Weather Service. Let's see what they're reporting here, and it's right there. Should pop it up, maybe. The latest storm report from them. Yeah, so Searle Mount Terza Road at Antioch Church Road is closed due to pond overflowing and covering roadways. This is the 3300 block of Antioch Church Road. It is now impassable due to floodwaters as this line worked through. Flash flooding continues to be a problem across our region as we continue to work through this tornado warning Mecklenburg County. Up near Chase City and Boynton, and that continues to slide off to the north. If you are watching right now, let's update this and tell you who is in the path of this. If Scotts Cross Road, Chase City, Drapersville, what road is that goes through there? That's Virginia Highway. I believe that's a county highway up there, the County Highway 47, working through Drapersville and Whiteman. As it slides to the north, you should be taking shelter immediately in those areas. Also, Old Cox Road, Mecklenburg Academy Drive, Lone Oak Road. We're getting an update on the radar there. Chase City, we're not seeing a real heavy swirl, but it might be in this area right here, where we would see some wraparound just north of Boynton, and that's where that tornado would be located. It was a confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service out of Wakefield, Virginia. They're the ones who processed for that area at 10:33, radar confirming a tornado located over Chase City. That is now south of Chase City, and that's moving up to the north toward Chase City. It's racing at 55 miles an hour. So if we'll zoom it out and put a storm path on this, and we'll track that edge of the showers that's working through. That edge of showers is right here, and it's moving north at 55 miles an hour. That puts it in Chase City in about 9 minutes, so about 10:52 as it spreads out. And then it goes on toward Rehoboth, and then toward a bunch of towns where folks don't get us on their cable or television sets. This is our northernmost county in our viewing area. We have 23 counties we serve officially. We're on cable in some more counties like Alamance and down into Bladen County. Some folks watch us even though they're not technically part of our viewing area. And so those folks we also serve, but this one from Boynton to Chase City as it continues to work off to the north. 10:43 right now. This tornado warning goes until almost 11 o'clock. They just shrunk the box on there. And here's the latest out of Mecklenburg County at 10:42. Radar still confirming a tornado over Kells Corner near Chase City. It's moving north. It has slowed down at 35 miles per hour. We'll go back to our relative velocities and see if we can detect it. Yeah, we can. So this is the area of concern. Now, you'll see right in this area, we're getting some gray. That's because this gets toward the edge of our radar site. So the radar isn't sure how to process it. It just updated and it's moving off to the north. And so this brighter area is outbound, inbound. We see this rotation, the winds. Let's check on the wind speed since we're here. See what it can detect up there. 41 miles an hour on that side. Down here 23, so you're talking 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. Basically what's happening is this area is moving in this direction. This area is moving in this direction. Then we kind of fill in the blanks for these two areas, and that's where you get that counterclockwise rotation and that storm as it presses off to the north. I know we were just we had our chopper over Carolina Beach. We'll be going back to that momentarily, I promise, because I know we have so many people who have interest in Carolina Beach and Emerald Isle and all of those places down there, and the chopper's up above it, and they want to see. We saw some massive flooding in those areas, and unfortunately we're seeing massive flooding around our area. Look at every green county highlighted. If I look at all of our watches and warnings right now, all of the counties highlighted, I'll fill them in real quick. Those are flash flood watches. Flash flood warnings are all of these counties, and we are seeing those flash flood warnings, those green counties, flash flooding continuing right along this area with those showers as they work through. Live look at First Alert Doppler Radar right now. We'll switch over to our radar and show you the latest rainfall as it's working in what we call the reflectivity, where we're seeing the shower activity, and that rain is very heavy in spots. There's so much moisture to work with in the atmosphere that as this works through, it's putting down a quick, heavy burst of rainfall from the city of Durham. Not severe, but already exacerbating the heavy rain and the flooding we've been seeing in Durham County. Then as we go southeast Roxborough into Granville County and Vance counties, then up toward Clarksville, and then it's this little bump right here. This bump in the area, this is where that tornado would possibly be located, especially right in that region, and it's pressing off to the north at 50 or 35 miles an hour. Again, this warning coming to us out of National Weather Service office in Chase City, or excuse me, in Wakefield, Virginia. They monitor Chase City, Mecklenburg County, and then that county north of there where Rehoboth, Virginia is actually Lunenburg County. So we're watching that as it presses up to the north. We don't have much in the way of cameras or activity up there, but if you're watching up there right now, you should be sheltering. If you haven't been watching over the past couple of days, Safest place you can go is the lowest part of your house. Remember, you don't want to be in the upper part of your house. That's where all bad things happen when a tornado works by. And you see the part of the roof is usually the first to sustain damage. We saw that with the, as we were watching the chopper fly over for the hurricanes as well. We saw that those roofs sustained a lot of that damage. You want to stay away from the second story of the house. The winds get higher as you get up from the ground. There's not the friction to the ground to help slow it down. It'll tear the roof off, and most damage happens on the second floor. And then as we go down into the house, the little house there, I'm going to zoom down into that area. You want the interior room. You don't want to be by a window. You don't want to be by a outer wall. You don't want to be anywhere where you can get hit by flying debris. As the house comes apart, you want to be in a hallway, you want to be in a closet, you want to be in a bathroom that doesn't have windows, or in a tub. Even if it has a window, you're in the nice hard sides of the tub. They're nice and hard, they'll protect you. Put a big blanket or a twin mattress over you, and that will protect you as well. Those are the places you need to be as that tornado approaches your area. And we're talking about the area up in Chase City, Virginia. Live look at First Alert Doppler right now. I'll go back up into that area, Clarksville, Chase City, and toward Rehoboth. We're watching this area of showers work through, and those showers and thunderstorms working through with some spin in them. We'll switch over to the look at the relative velocity, storm relative velocity. It has weakened a little, but there's still some rotation, and that is starting to pass almost out of our viewing area. So I'll tell you what, news, we're going to give you guys a standby. As this starts to pass out, it will still go up into Lunenburg in the northernmost part of our viewing area in Mecklenburg County. This is starting to pass toward the outside of that. I'll be watching for reports, and I will interrupt as needed, but I know that chopper is in the air right now over places people want to see. So I'll continue to monitor this, guys, and we'll send it back to John and Barbara.
All right, Don, thank you.
And actually, what we want to do is go to the breaking news center. Andrea Blandford is standing by. She has some new information regarding New Bern. Andrea?
Yeah, hey guys, we do have an update from New Bern for you right here from the Breaking News Center. And if we could go to that real quick, we just got some word from the city manager in New Bern over the last half hour or so. He gave a press conference updating us on the damage of that. And it was somewhere, I believe, in the hundreds of thousands of homes that were either damaged or destroyed in Florence. Also, several businesses also took on damage or were destroyed during the storm as that came through. And we're going to continue to follow this. Oh, here we go. Here's some more information. If we could please scroll up. Mark Stevens was giving this information earlier this morning. You can continue to scroll up, guys. It was more than 4,300 homes. Those were either damaged or destroyed. 300 businesses took on damage. And we're talking somewhere around $6 million in damages so far. The police department will now be honing in on areas that were hardest hit during the storm. Those same officers took care of transporting family pets to safety while people were evacuating to shelters. So still so much recovery to happen there in New Bern. You can see the effects of that as our crews were on the ground throughout Florence covering the damage, and just a long way to go for those folks who live in New Bern. Back to you.
Andrea, thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. I know we've been she had to rush to the Breaking News Center because Don was doing his coverage on the tornado warning.
There's a lot going on.
Sorry about that. So we are also looking forward to our next update from state officials.
The governor and the entire team of the Emergency Operations Center, they've been working hard since before Florence roared ashore. Let's go now to Dwan Hogarth, who's standing by in front of the podium. Dwan?
Well, John, at noon today, we're expecting Governor Cooper to take the podium here behind me just to give an update on where we stand right now for the state in regards to Hurricane Florence aftermath. Just a couple of quick things. Saturday night, I was standing in this very room, and the latest number I had was 545 roads impassable or closed. I just checked a few short moments ago. That number has now jumped to 1,500. Again, 1,500 from 545 in just less than 48 hours. And that also includes I-95 and I-40. I mean, a lot of folks, particularly our crews, as they're trying to get around the state, they're finding it even difficult to get to Wilmington or places out in New Bern or Greenville. So if you have family or loved ones or friends over in those areas and you're trying to get to them or they're trying to get to you, one website you can direct them to is drivenc.org, or they can also call 511. One thing I do plan on asking the governor once he takes the podium is we're hearing from our sister station WSOC about a death in Union County involving someone. Hopefully the governor has been briefed on that and may have some more information. As well as some of the rainfall and the conditions we saw in Durham County earlier this morning. I do plan on asking the governor that. Also, we are aware President Donald Trump is set to visit the state sometime this week to tour some of the damage. Again, I will reach out to the governor. Hopefully he has an answer on whether or not he will be joining the president on that tour of the state. But again, that press conference coming up in just over an hour at noon here. It should last just a few minutes, so we'll bring you another update once that presser is complete and update you right here on ABC 11. Back to you.
Dwan Hogard at the EOC. Thank you.
So lots ahead of us today as we look at the damage, and then we are looking to hear from government officials. More coverage, Tropical Depression Florence right after this.
Watching the situation.
It's been an incredible number of days.
We've just rewritten the history books.
The Coast Guard rescuing flood victims, asking residents to please seek higher ground.
I downloaded the app and I've been following all of your team.
Water levels continue to rise.
Up until Floyd, we had never seen anything of this nature.
I could be dead. It was that close.
Band after band of very heavy rain.
We got each other, and we're going to go pull through.
We knew we had to go above and beyond.
Everybody pulls together and just makes it through this together.
You're watching ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
And there's still much more to tell you about Florence. Now just, I don't even know if it's a tropical depression anymore, maybe just a low.
Is it?
The remnants still causing lots of issues in our area. We saw street flooding and flash flooding in Durham this morning, still raining heavily in parts of the Triangle. And Anthony Wilson has got a different kind of situation.
Yeah, he's been trying to get out of Hope Mills because, and he cannot because of these flooded roads. And now he's at an area where people are actually getting in water they're really not supposed to get in. Anthony?
No, they don't want to do that.
That's right. John and Barbara, this is a what not to do moment here. The folks you see standing in that water, let's talk about, first of all, the water, what could be in it. All kinds of pollutants. We're talking about possible animal waste, possible human waste, chemicals, animals, creepy crawlies, all that could be in that water. Yet, you still see people down there at the other side of this bridge where we are who are taking pictures and doing the things that authorities here in Hope Mills are discouraging. Now, looking beyond them, stay on them for a minute there, Jeff, you do see some cars turning around. That is what they do want people to do. If they come up and see those barriers, and these are not the only barriers you're going to see at bridges and washed over roads like the one we have on camera, these people see the barriers, they're turning around and taking another route. And that is what we've been doing all day long, trying to get out of Hope Mills, but we've been speaking also with the town manager here, who is telling us that they really, really need people to take this seriously, because they do hope to have the first responders out here sooner or later. They have a lot of roads to cover to get these situations like this at least to the point where they're passable. Of course, they can't do it by waving a magic wand. They have to wait for nature to step in. If you can pan over this way, Jeff, let me just show them again what we're dealing with here. The water that's on that road is very high here. It's directly underneath. If this is the side where the road is, what you can't see on that side is the water at about the same level. You probably can hear it though. Listen to this. It's ordinarily a pretty placid creek, but the town manager says this water is probably coming from the dam, which is upstream from here. It's coming along here, and once again we want to show you, here's the dry road bed. Police have been out here at the other end and also at that end discouraging people, but you can't keep people off the road when they decide to come out here. That said, this could end badly for somebody, so when you see this kind of water, you see a washed over road, whether you're in Hope Mills or anywhere else where the water is high, please avoid this area, because you need to give the people who are trying to keep everybody else safe some room to operate. So take it from us, this is no joke. Please avoid it if you can, and tell your other friends, take selfies and other pictures somewhere other than places like this. John and Barbara.
Right, on dry ground. Anthony, thank you.
All right, 10:58 now. More video and some new information you need to hear about Florence right after this.
Watching the situation.
It's been an incredible number of days.
We've just rewritten the history books.
The Coast Guard rescuing flood victims, asking residents to please seek higher ground.
I downloaded the app and I've been following all of your team.
Water levels continue to rise.
Up until Floyd, we had never seen anything of this nature.
I could be dead. It was that close.
Band after band of very heavy rain.
We got each other, and we're going to go pull through.
We knew we had to go above and beyond.
Everybody pulls together and just makes it through this together.
You're watching ABC11 Eyewitness News.
And thank you for joining our continuing coverage.
And we start with breaking news right off the top. Authorities in Union County have found the body of a missing 1-year-old who was swept away in floodwaters on Sunday night. Look at that precious baby. That child slipped away from his mother's grip, and that brings the death toll now from Florence to 17 just in North Carolina.
Well, meantime, more than 1,000 swiftwater rescues have been performed over the past few days. And right now, the number of statewide power outages stands at just over 483,000.
All right, let's go to big weather in the First Alert Storm Center after just an intense morning of thunderstorms, tornado warnings, and just it's been incredible.
It really has, and I've had some people email me on Facebook and say, well, it's sunny in my house. Yes, and we're hoping for more sunshine and more dry weather, but we have a ton of warnings to pass along. Look at all these flash flood warnings. We have more counties in a flash flood warning than are out of a flash flood warning right now. All of those flash flood warnings extending down south into Fayetteville and Sampson County. Now you'll notice at the moment Bladen and Robeson counties have been taken out, so we'll wait to see if they reissue. Sometimes when one expires, it'll take them a little bit to reissue. But at the moment, those two counties now out of the flash flood warning, but flash flood warnings remain in effect for Sampson, Cumberland, Hoke, Moore, Harnett, Lee, Chatham, Western Wake, Durham, Orange, Alamance, Person, Granville, Vance, and we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Chase City, just east of Chase City to south of Virginia. This was changed from a tornado warning earlier. As that line lifts up now, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 15 minutes or so up in Mecklenburg County. We'll slide down this area, showers into Person County and Granville County. Those showers sliding off to the east along 158. Then as you get into Stem and Button or northern Durham County, some heavier rain falling in that area. Zoom it out. We do see some showers over downtown. We'll see these little pockets of showers popping up, but we're not seeing the widespread heavy rainfall. Just because you see some sunshine, that is making the air a little more unstable in spots, and it will trigger more showers as we go through the afternoon. Live look into downtown Raleigh, 80 degrees right now, 76 the dew point, so that air is thick. You got to chew it before you breathe it again today. Winds are out of the south at 13 miles per hour. From there to a live look into Durham, temperature right now is 77, 89% humidity, and a southwest wind at 3. We see Florence's rain pulling up to the north, but it's drawing all this moisture up still out of the south. There's so much heat, so much humidity. If I zoom it out, the cooler, drier air is back here into Illinois and Iowa and Missouri, and this thing is acting like a giant wall. Eventually it's going to pull north. It's going to wrap some of that drier, cooler air back in, and we will see that drier air into us the rest of the week as this thing continues to pull out. But until it does, we're going to stay humid today and tomorrow. First Alert Predictor forecast model showing between 2 o'clock. Notice all these little dots at 2 o'clock. It may not be raining right over Holly Springs at 2 o'clock. But when we see these dots start to show up around the area, that tells us that there will be hit or miss showers around as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. I think as this line drops through between 4 and 6:30, we could see some stronger showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder. Overnight by 3:30, 1 or 2 showers, but it starts to shut off and some dry weather works in. Your forecast for today looks like this. We'll see cloudy skies, scattered showers, temperatures running near 80 degrees through lunchtime, and then this afternoon, we're in the low 80s, breezy with showers and thunderstorms around. Your 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather tomorrow. Temperatures back into the 80s, 87 with a few showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday 86, Thursday 84, Friday 86. And the first day of fall is Saturday and 88 degrees. Time for weather and traffic together. Now for that, we go to Kim Diener.
Thank you, Don, and good morning. Can you believe we are up to 1,500 roads in North Carolina that are either closed or impassable? So that's how tough it's going to be to get around the state of North Carolina over the next couple of days. I am almost confident that the majority of those roads are south and east of the triangle. So that is just a massive amount of roads that the DOT has to deal with over the next weeks probably. All right, let's take a look at what is closed. Major freeways, major highways, Interstate 40 from NC 24, that's near Warsaw. So the interstate's closed right there near Warsaw. It's the exit of Warsaw. Warsaw's off I-40, and it's closed all the way to US 117 near Carroll. So you're not going to be able to take I-40 past that Warsaw exit, and then it's virtually impossible to get into Wilmington. just virtually impossible. All right, so the longest stretch of I-95 that's closed in the state of North Carolina starts in Dunn, near Dunn, just north of Fayetteville, and extends all the way up to US 64 in Nash County. So that's remaining closed, at least at this point. We do not have any idea from officials as to when they plan to reopen that. So if you need to make your way into Fayetteville, 401 is an option for you. You may deal with some flooding in Lillington. Other options, you can go to ABC11.com. I've got several alternate routes. I also wanted to point out that I-95, portions of I-95 are also closed then again in the Lumberton area, and then part of I-95 is closed in South Carolina, down there near Dillon, for about 9 miles south of Dillon toward Florence. Because of all of the flooding, just take a look at this. This is just unbelievable. I mean, we've seen so much rain here, even in the Triangle this morning. But this is Lumberton, and you can see why Robeson County dealing with that closure on I-95. It was flooded. It looked like a river a couple of nights ago. Yesterday when we looked at it, it had calmed down just a bit, but still flooded. There was no way that cars were going to be able to navigate that part of I-95 in Lumberton. So that part of I-95 is also closed. So I-95, a real major issue as you make your way from the northern part of the state of North Carolina all the way down out of North Carolina into the Lumberton area and into South Carolina. So we've got a whole lot of flooding that's going on. Still roads closed in Durham and Chapel Hill. I'm updating every bit of that. That's all going to the web, ABC11.com, and it's also, you can find every single road still dealing with issues by following me on Twitter, Kim Diener, ABC11. John and Barbara. Oh, and I want to mention, I'm so sorry, Chapel Hill Transit, they're closed all day today, so you will not be able to ride any public transportation in Chapel Hill.
Okay, Kim, thank you.
All right, good day to stay home if you can.
Yep.
Let's go to Morgan Norwood now. She's in a neighborhood in Hope Mills where homes are under several feet of water.
All of this flooding is like deja vu to many residents here in the Brook Ridge subdivision in Hope Mills. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg compared to what they dealt with during Hurricane Matthew. All of this water from Rockfish Creek came rushing in yesterday morning, prompting a mandatory evacuation. Law enforcement plucking people from their homes, telling them they had to get to higher ground. Thankfully, everyone had already done so, but one woman in particular, she sits on the hill. She's gone through Hurricane Matthew and says this brings back traumatic memories, especially as the waters continue to rise.
Anxiety, stress it hasn't hit my house, and this is what it looks like right now. It's just a waiting game.
Now, thankfully, the water is receding. It's been doing so for the past couple of hours or so, but it could get much worse as those water levels in the creek and the lake continue to rise. We're in Hope Mills this afternoon. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Gosh, our thoughts and prayers go to folks who are in such precarious situations.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more continuous coverage of Tropical Depression Florence after this.
And as we continue our coverage of Florence, if you're tuning in to see the view, you'll have to go to our alternate channel 11.2 or Spectrum 1240. If you're in the Sandhills, that channel is 1200.
All right. Right now we want to go to Julie Wilson. She has got video of a bus, or she's actually live where a bus got stuck this morning. Julie?
Yeah, we were over in that area this morning, Barbara. We have moved location. Let me tell you a little bit about this bus, though, in case parents at home are concerned about their kiddos. With Durham Public School, they were on Pickett Road. The bus driver came across Mud Creek, decided to turn around, which was a very smart decision. If you've been on my Twitter, Julie ABC11, to see what that situation looked like, that Mud Creek was just overflowing and gushing over Pickett Street. So she tried to turn around, got stuck in someone's driveway. That's understandable because of how muddy it is, or got stuck kind of in their ditch there next to their driveway. We know that all the kids were safe. And then as we were leaving, we saw someone who appeared to be a teacher. The kids were really excited to see him coming out there to help get those kids moved off and onward to school, we assume. Now, here we're at Hillendale and Sprunt Avenue. We were out here this morning and we showed you the Durham Fire Department doing a water rescue. Jeff, go ahead and show them over there what we see now. You see those cars that are just nonchalantly parked, that tow truck backing up to one right now. This is just really a testament to how high and how quick these waters can rise, because I want to go ahead and show you video from this morning. This morning, quite the different scene. If we're in that video, you can see how the water is just halfway up to the door handles on that what looks like a small Cadillac SUV there. So those people, they had to be rescued, 3 cars there. But back out here live, you can see it is quite a different story here on Sprunt Avenue and Hillendale Road, because the Ellerby Creek, which is just right here, was overflowing this, and now it's just totally receded. We'll walk on down here and give you a look at it. We're right next to a golf course. That golf course taking some water on with it. So there's the Ellerby Creek sign, and the Ellerby Creek here looking like this right now, and you can kind of peek up through here, Jeff, and give the folks at home a better view as to how those waters haven't completely receded there on the golf course, but they are going down. You're able to see that walkway quite a bit better than you could this morning, and you couldn't see it this morning. So that's what it's looking like here. Just a real testament to how quick those waters can rise and put you in trouble inside of your vehicle when they do, and just as quick as they come, they go. John and Barbara.
All right, Julie Wilson, live in Durham. Thank you so much, Julie.
And you can see sunshine there in Durham. Just maybe about 15-20 minutes ago, we were hearing more heavy rain on the roof of our downtown Durham studio. But roads, though, are still a trouble spot in Durham. Let's go to the telephone now, and Will Glenn with the Durham Police Department joins us. Mr. Glenn, tell us what the road situation is like in the city of Madison.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So currently we're dealing with a few road closures. I think we have about 5 roads that are currently closed. There are about 50 or so roads that are experiencing some level of standing water, however. I'll go with some of the main roads that are actually closed right now. Garrett Road at Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard is closed. Old Chapel Hill Road at Garrett Road. Sprunt Avenue at Hillendale Road is closed as well. Coal Mill Road at Hillendale Road, and Fayetteville Street at Pilot Street. All of these are experiencing standing water.
Do you have any vehicles that have been stopped or stuck and needed to have the people rescued?
Unfortunately, we have. We've had, I know, at least 3 to 4 water rescues this morning. The fire department had to bring their boats out early this morning when the system first came through to rescue several people. We just want to stress, when you see standing water, do not play in the standing water. Please do not drive through the standing water. I think the old adage is turn around, do not drown, don't drown. So avoid standing water at all costs.
Yeah, we already had a school bus in Durham try to turn around to avoid the water and got stuck. So with Durham Public Schools in school today, I know it's going to be an extra concern, especially for you guys, to make sure that those buses get kids home safely this afternoon.
Yes, certainly. We're stressing again to please use extreme caution anytime you are driving on the roads today. Of course, when you see a school bus, you want to use caution as well, as children could be nearby getting on the bus or getting off the bus.
That is Will Glenn from the Durham Police Department. Sir, we thank you for talking with us, and we appreciate all the work your guys and gals do in uniform.
Certainly, y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
By the way, Durham Public Schools, some of the folks were upset because Durham Public Schools were in session today, and they released a statement saying that they have been reviewing weather and road conditions since 3:30. We had every indication that today would be a good day to open schools. When weather advisories were issued and conditions began to deteriorate, buses were already en route to school. In situations like these, it is generally safer for buses to bypass flooded roads and bring students to safety at our schools, which are secure facilities. We continue to monitor and respond to our current weather conditions.
Okay. Well, let's go to Ed Crump now. He is live for us. Ed?
Hey guys, we're in Elm City, which is just north of Wilson, about 10 miles. And we're going to show you out the front camera of Breaking News 1 right now. A tornado touchdown here around 7 o'clock this morning, the residents are telling us. You see this van in front of us. This tree's already been cut up. The van got crushed. Now we're going to go around the block here and show you a little more. By the way, we're told by, I just talked with some sheriff's deputies. They tell us that there are no reports of injury, so we're very fortunate. You see the cleanup going on over here. And the fact that no one was hurt is pretty amazing, because when we get up here to the corner and turn on the left there, you see there's a blue tarp on that house. But when we turn here, you're going to see this is apparently the most potential for damage was right here at this mobile home. And you'll see a man up on the roof, and you're going to see a tree on the roof of this mobile home. So they're trying to get that off right now. It obviously cut right through the mobile home, but apparently it didn't go down inside. So again, apparently no injuries here. We haven't been up this way, but we're going to drive this way now to try to get a better look at what's going on over here. But that's a massive tree. Looks like it came up by the roots, and that's the concern a lot of people have, is that all this rain has loosened up the root systems on many of these trees, and a little bit of wind or a tornado that Florence is spawning is going to come through and knock trees over just like this. There's something down there to the left. I'm going to ask Skeeta Courier, photographer, to turn left here to see if we can at least show down the street here and see. Yeah, it looks like there is. It looks like they're got work trucks down here picking up more debris that's blocking the street, but it doesn't look like any houses were hit here. I'm looking around, I don't see anything hit here. So there is a power line down, so we're gonna have to make a slow 3-point turn here to go back. So bear with us for just a second, and we'll get back over here. But you can see directly in front of us all the limbs down, all the trees. It looks like mostly pine trees that we're seeing that are down. It was certainly a pine tree that was on top of that mobile home you saw back there. There was another area up here by the bridge as you get off 301 to come into Elm City. We might be able to get back up that way here in just a second. But for now, Skeeta, do you recall, was there something just north of us here? Or was that, I think there may be something else over here. Is that it? Yeah, there is something. Let's see if we can go up there for a minute. Folks, bear with us, live television. We're kind of exploring the area. We just got here a few minutes ago, so we're trying to figure out the circumstances and the situation here. Again, the first thing we did was spot sheriff's deputies to check to make sure there were no injuries, and there were none, we're being told. And this happened, like I said, at 7 o'clock, so I think they would know by now. We also asked some of the residents down here who have been walking around. They said that their understanding is that there's no injuries as well. These cones may just be set up because of flooding here. We have obviously street flooding going on. Oh, there's some tornado damage over here to our left. It looks like a tree down, but it doesn't look like anybody's injured. Excuse me, right here. Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. Okay, she can't hear me. Let's go over here, turn left, and let me ask this lady. Is everything okay? Are you guys okay?
Yeah, look, man, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. Hi, Ed Crump with Channel 11. How are you doing?
Dave Sharp. How you
Good,
Dave.
Dave.
We're very fortunate, bud. Very fortunate. Matter of fact, I was watching you guys this morning when it came on. And I actually live in Macclesfield. Our fire department burned it yesterday. And then we deal with this today. But this morning when y'all came on, when he said Elm City, I said, oh, you know, one of those modes, and I got on the phone and got with them 3 minutes before that thing came over.
Well, we're on live TV right now, so I'll just warn you of that. But so what's the? I mean, I see a lot of trees down on houses, but we're told no injuries.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, very fortunate, very fortunate. We but one of my buddies in here had a tree come through his house. We had about a quarter of the roof come off one of ours. Before I could even really get going well this morning, my buddies had already stepped in to help out.
So you're from Macclesfield. You came over here to try to.
MC's my hometown.
Okay, so
Yes,
you
sir.
came over here to try to help out.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
We've been hearing lots of stories of that during the storm. That's what it's all about. Yeah,
Big love, man.
fist bump.
Big love.
Tell me your name again, sir.
Dave Sharp.
Dave Sharp. Dave, thank you for coming over and helping folks out. We're grateful nobody's injured.
If you guys need anything.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, again, live TV, but that guy just gave us information. He said, you heard him say he was watching ABC11 this morning, watching Eyewitness News, and he heard, yes, that there was a tornado warning over here. So he made his way over here, and sure enough, it had hit. And now he's here. He's over here to my right in the front yard of looks like an elderly woman trying to rake stuff out of the yard here. So he's just helping out, like we've seen a lot of during the storm. This is a great spirit of the communities here trying to help each other out. So we see people on a porch over here to the left. I see some more trees down. We're coming up on another. Wow. We really are fortunate here. The folks in Elm City are very fortunate that, oh my gosh, that's that's an oak tree, and that's a big tree right there. But it looks like it fell into an empty lot. There's some more trees down over here to my right. Yeah, definitely touched down. We're passing the Elm City post office right now. I was going to tell you to turn left, Skeeta, but we can't get down that road. So maybe we can cut over up here and come back that way. There's another tree down, a cedar tree. Wow. It looks like yeah, it was pretty well concentrated right here and real close to what is downtown Elm City. I don't know that we're going to get back that to the north, Skeeta, without Turner. I don't think there's another street going back there. So I think we're going to have to turn around and make our way back. Why don't you go down this block and let's go back through this so people can get a look at what we saw on this side going back. So if you guys will bear with us, we're going to make a turn around here and see if we can't get back down and show you some of those large trees that just missed houses over here. Pretty amazing. Wait a minute, what do we got going here? Yeah, there's a sheriff's deputy there. There's a small church here. He's blocking the road, so this may be our best bet for turning around. We don't think that's the street, the other end of the street we were on when we made the three-point turn. So we're just going to turn around and go back and let you guys see Elm City Church of God. Looks like it's fine. And the house next door is fine. So we're going to go back out here to this street and cut down and let you see again these trees I was talking about, including that large oak tree.
And Ed, as you continue to show us these pictures, yeah, I want to bring meteorologist Don Schwinneker into the conversation. Don, that gentleman, we couldn't see him, but we heard him say that he heard that tornado warning this morning for Elm City. He just had a couple minutes to get to shelter. But sometimes folks say, well, why am I seeing this? This is not my neighborhood. This is not my house. Why are you showing this tornado warning on the air? I want to watch my regular programming.
And that's exactly why we do it right there, because when that storm is bearing on your house, bearing down on your house in your neighborhood like it did down in Elm City, we'll be watching for that for your neighborhood too. And it's just critical to get that information out. Even with phones and with apps and everything else, sometimes the best way to warn people is just go on TV and tell them, get to your safe place. This is coming towards you.
Yeah, and John brought up another interesting point too. At the end of this hurricane, we're seeing this kind of destruction. This hurricane has brought so many different elements into so many areas.
It really has, and part of the problem is now that this, what's left of tropical depression Florence is moving away, as it wraps around, it's wrapping cooler air in the backside that can add to the instability. It's still drawing right up from the south. It's still drawing moisture off the ocean, unstable air off the ocean, and actually, well, okay, that's coming back in. I was going to say, if you go to Weather 3 for a second, you can kind of see the center of this area of low pressure is still up over the Ohio River Valley. We're watching this live coverage in Elm City where the tornado hit earlier today. So as this storm pulls to the north and it wraps into that cooler air, it is going to get more unstable in spots, unfortunately, and so you get instability. You still get that warm, moist air being drawn up from the south. We're still in tropical air, and as long as the tropical air is over us and it interacts with the sunshine and that cooler air, we could see those thunderstorms popping up, continuing into this afternoon.
All right, we are watching live pictures from Breaking News 1 in Elm City and Wilson County. Ed Crump is the journalist there behind the wheel, veteran journalist. And Ed, we're going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, you guys, I guess we have the microphone up now. I'm just trying to peer over here and see. It looks like we've given you pretty much the tour. Let me show you one more thing. Let's take a left here, Skeeta, and go back out, if we may, down to where the police were over by the bridge, and see if we can see down that road what's going on down there. Again, folks, the best thing to report here is it appears there are no injuries. Everybody here grateful that there are no injuries. We're going to have to maybe go up around that way, Skeeta, on that side of the cone, because I don't think you can get through here. If you go right on the left of that cone and then turn back to the right. Fortunately, we have a four-wheel drive, folks. It's going to get a little bit bumpy here, but we should be okay. Looks like you got it. We're good this way. There is, you're going to see up here, road closed. We're going to go down that way. I think that may be because of flooding down there. I don't know that this has anything to do with the tornado that hit here today, but we're going to take a quick look for you. But again, you heard that gentleman earlier saying, he also mentioned something about the Macclesfield Fire Department having a fire yesterday. I wasn't sure I understood that correctly. I had not heard that. If anybody else has heard that, you can fill me in on it. But we're going to take a quick peek down here. This looks like DOT trucks. I'm not sure this is anything more than flooding.
Hey,
but we're
Ed.
going to take a quick look. There's a solar panel farm. Yes.
Hey, we're going to let you guys check things out, and in the meantime, we'll check back with you in a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to check in with our Elena Athens, who is right now in Cumberland County. She's on Highway 210. Elena, what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, we pulled over as we were driving on this roadway because we noticed that two officers were out here along 210 watching the water rise along the little river, and you can see how dangerously close it is to where the roadway is right now. This is just right almost at where the bridge is. That water has been steadily rising. You can see right now just how high it is, and it's moving right now. So it's almost at the bridge, but as I had mentioned, there are law enforcement officers out here right now. They have been checking out conditions on either side of the highway, but they're right now in that cruiser. They have presumably cones out ready to shut down this roadway when the water does spill over this particular bridge. Right now, traffic is moving both north and south pretty steadily. This is one of the few roads that we have been able to use ourselves as we are making our way from Raleigh down to the Fayetteville, Lumberton area. It's been very difficult to get around because there is still pockets of a roadway that is flooded out. I know we had some problems going on 410, so we had to switch over, kind of go across county or country roads to get ourselves onto 210 as we continue to make our way south. But this is one roadway that is certainly going to experience some flooding very soon. I'll show you again just how close it is to where the bridge is at. It's been steadily rising, even just since we have been here for the last 15 or so minutes. But this road certainly is one of many that is expected to flood as we wait for the rivers and tributaries to crest here. And you can see, actually, we're going to show you right now, there is a helicopter out surveying that does look like a state official vehicle that is out surveying the tributaries in this area. So a lot of folks keeping an eye on these riverways. This is just a little river. We're also expecting the Cape Fear River to crest very soon. So I just wanted to kind of stop here and give you a look at what is happening in this section. The roadway is still open for now. Helicopters are out, also keeping an eye, but this roadway is open for now, but surely it will be closed down very soon. And again, there is police. Also, it looks like a DOT crew just rolled up just now with some of those orange cones, preparing and ready to shut down this roadway very soon, it looks like. But for now, cars are going up
and down to 10. Back to you guys in studio.
Right. Elena, thank you.
And Jonah Kaplan is also along the Little River. He's a little farther down. And Jonah has been tweeting about the water flooding a cemetery there. Let's go to him live. Jonah?
Yeah, John, look behind me. I mean, when you see this river cresting, yeah, it's not just neighborhoods, but I mean, it's a resting place for many of our loved ones. And just, wow, look at this. I mean, the flowers, I can't tell if they're floating or if that's just the depth of the water. But this is a very sobering picture here as you see the Little River, which I just found out expected to crest at 2:30 this afternoon. And we have here Spring Lake Town Manager Daniel Gerald. Look, traffic you could see is, I mean, crawling along here. This is Bragg Boulevard. Looks like we got a helicopter coming overhead. What can you tell us about the state of things here?
Well, what we're looking to do here, we have downgraded the lanes down to basically one lane in, one lane out. 87 north out, 87 south is being diverted over the Highway 210 into town, and we're monitoring the bridge.
Wow, and look at this piece of equipment here. Wow, this looks like a giant drill, something that's going to be used, and it's almost like a tank. Tell us about some of the other, you know, what are the worries about? Looks like, I mean, we got cones down here. This is Bragg Boulevard. I mean, this is the main artery through town into Fort Bragg. Is this expected to close later?
We don't know. We're monitoring that. It's a lot of orchestration between our group and Fort Bragg to get a lot of the vehicles in and out. So it's a concerted effort.
What are you asking of people? I imagine just patience.
Yes, it's patience. We do have the situation well monitored. We are still going around and still rescuing people, the ones who didn't heed the warning, who didn't get out. But as far as I know, we have gotten everybody that we needed to get to.
How many rescues do you know have you done?
We have 10 confirmed rescues over in Heritage Square. Used to be Riverview Apartments, and our fire department was able to get those individuals out.
Well, that's certainly good news. How does this compare to Hurricane Matthew?
This is going along pretty well. Hurricane Matthew's, my previous town, we had to evacuate a whole town, so we didn't have to do that here.
But what about in terms of the water levels?
Oh, it's historic water levels for Spring Lake. The highest in Matthew, I think it was like 32 feet. Here we're expected to go to 34 feet.
Wow, and cresting later today?
Yes, cresting hopefully at 2:30, maybe a little earlier, a little later. The water's equalizing all over town, so we're monitoring those spots.
Okay, Dan, appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
And you could just see the officers here trying to direct traffic, and photojournalist Chris doing such a good job. I don't know if you can rotate the camera all the way around, but the traffic here again coming down Bragg Boulevard. You know, this is what connects to Route 1 in Sanford. I mean, this is a major artery through Harnett County, into Cumberland County, and towards Fort Bragg. So if this shuts down later, boy, that is going to be a major development. Again, look, I mean, the sun is shining, but Florence, boy, she is really leaving her mark here as we see these rivers cresting. The Little River, which then feeds into the Cape Fear River. John, Barbara, it just seems like this is what communities are going to be dealing with for a long time.
All right, Jonah, thank you. And looking at those pictures of that cemetery, I'm reminded of a Hurricane Floyd, where we saw actually caskets coming up out of the ground in the Princeville area.
Yeah, and Katrina too.
All right, hopefully that doesn't happen there.
Okay, let's go to Andrea Blandford. She is in the Breaking News Center with a desperately terrible, tragic situation that's come out of Hurricane Florence. Andrea.
Yeah, that's right, Barbara. We are learning that the desperate search for a missing one-year-old boy who got swept away in floodwater has now come to a tragic end today. The Union County Sheriff's Office confirming for us this morning the deputies have found the body of that little boy. Caden Lee Welch went missing Saturday night. Authorities say that he and his mother were traveling on NC 218 toward Wadesboro when the mom drove around road barricades. Her car coming across rushing water that had covered the road, sweeping the vehicle into some trees. Authorities say that the mom was able to free herself and Caden from the car, but she lost her grip on him in the rushing water. First responders were able to rescue her and had been searching for Caden all this time, and now we know this morning that they were able to locate his body. A very devastating end to this search for one-year-old Caden. Guys.
Andrea in the Breaking News Center.
A heartbreaking story. Thank you, Andrea.
We'll be right back.
Watching the situation.
It's been an incredible number of days.
We've just rewritten the history books.
The Coast Guard rescuing flood victims, asking residents to please seek higher ground.
I downloaded the app and I've been following all of your team.
Water levels continue to rise.
Up until Floyd, we had never seen anything of this nature.
I could be dead. It was that close.
Band after band of very heavy rain.
We got each other, and we're going to go pull through.
We knew we had to go above and beyond.
Everybody pulls together and just makes it through this together.
You're watching ABC11 Eyewitness News.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of now tropical depression Florence, and we are first getting our now looks at a lot of the areas that have been, some have been devastated by the hurricane, and then some have sustained not as bad of damage.
Andrea Blandford just reported on a one-year-old child who died in the storm. Earlier, we had a report of a person who died at a shelter in Wilmington at Hoggart High School. We don't know if it was a male or female, but that person deceased as a result of, well, I won't say as a result, but it's something they're investigating. I don't have the exact death toll now. Is it 17?
I believe at last check it was 17, and I don't know if that includes the little boy who was missing. His mother tried to get a grip on him and lost grip. It just is an unbelievably terrible story. Also this morning we experienced, because the triangle has been relatively unscathed through this hurricane this morning, though, we got our part of Tropical Depression Florence. Intense rainfall, tornado warnings, tornado touchdown in Elm City, and intense rainfall. So many streets are flooded, and there were rescues in our area this morning. Let's
go to Don and talk about that situation.
Yeah, and we just heard from a viewer whose father lives up in Chase City. One of the 7 tornado warnings we've had this morning. The one in Chase City, he confirms, again, this is through a viewer, but she says, my dad lives up there. He saw the tornado. So National Weather Service out of Wakefield, Virginia would send somebody over there to assess damage, again, in Chase City in Mecklenburg County up in Virginia. Good morning to you. Let's show you all the warnings we have going on right now. Now, these are flash flood watches and warnings. These do not include flood warnings and river flood warnings and everything else. Just where is flash flooding still happening, and it is still in spots. And flash flooding means flash flooding occurring over the next couple of hours. It also means the possibility of loss of life. It's one of the most serious warnings the National Weather Service issues. I mean, most of their warnings are serious, but flash flooding is the #2 killer of people in the United States. #1 killer, by the way, is hot weather. We do see flash flood warnings still in play up in Granville, Vance, and Person counties, Durham, Orange, Alamance. Eno River's been flooding. because of the 4+ inches of rainfall we saw in about 4 hours this morning. Chatham County, Western Wake, Lee, Moore County, Harnett, Cumberland, into Hoke County and Sampson County. And if you're watching in Blade and Robeson, you're going, we're not under a flash flood warning. No, you're under a flood warning. You also have river flood warnings, but as far as a flash flood warning, you haven't seen rain in the past few hours, and that's helping to shut down some of those flooding concerns. Rivers, we're getting the latest updates from the hydrologist, the person at the National Weather Service. We have meteorologists who study the weather now. We have climatologists who study climate, and we have hydrologists. They study water. And the latest update from the 11 a.m. update from the hydrologists at the National Weather Service showing Fayetteville, it's still on its way up. We see that flood stage 35. The Cape Fear expected to go up around 60 feet. It's still going to crest higher than Matthew did. We're looking at Manchester. Manchester, this is a record flood for the Little River at Manchester. It's the highest it's ever been, and expected to go even higher, 2 more feet and crest at 34. How about the Haw and Deep Rivers? The Haw River near Bynum and also the Haw River at Haw River in Alamance County, running at record levels, expected to crest sometime tomorrow. Moncure, the Deep River, is expected to crest today around 15.7 feet. Let's go from there to the Neuse. The Neuse at Smithfield, expected to crest today. The Goldsboro, the Neuse, is still on its way up, not expected to crest until sometime on Wednesday. Cape Fear at Lillington, 14 feet is flood stage. It's at 18.7, still rising, although it has slowed down in its rise. That's good news. Maybe it won't quite crest that high. It is starting to slow a little bit, but it is still rising nonetheless. Lumberton, 13 feet is the flood stage. It's up at 24 feet, expected to crest around there as we go through today. Live look at First Alert Doppler. We're still seeing heavy rain showers and thunderstorms up in Chase City. That severe thunderstorm warning has shifted just to the northern tip now of Mecklenburg County, but you're seeing all kinds of lightning across Mecklenburg County from Chase City down to Clarksville. We'll slide south through Granville County into northern Vance County. Showers, a few thunderstorms, light to moderate rain now falling from Butner into Durham. Heavier rain developing in a few pockets over Wake Forest. We're going to see this happen throughout the day. As the sun comes up, as it heats the atmosphere, we start to see these little pockets of instability work through. It's been sunny at times, but now in Holly Springs and western Holly Springs and Apex and Cary, even into Morrisville, you'll see some showers working through. We had some heavier showers down in Sampson County. They have died. Still a little bit of shower activity tracking toward Wayne County. Wayne County not under a flash flood warning now, so that's good news there. 80 degrees is our current temperature, but there's the number, almost jungle-like. Even when it's not raining, there's so much humidity in the air that even if you get a little area of showers that starts to fire, it's got so much moisture to pull from. It is going to put down a heavy amount of rainfall, 87% humidity, south wind 13 miles per hour. From there to a live look into Durham, 80 degrees, 83% humidity, 4 3/4 inch of rain have fallen since midnight. We got about 3 inches over 2 hours this morning. Live look at a satellite radar composite. The heaviest showers now pulling north, working their way up through I-85 up to the north. We've got these spotty showers down here, but we've got a lot of instability. Here's the low, tropical depression Florence moving away. It's wrapping cool air in on the backside, so that's in that. Unfortunately adds to the instability. In our area, it's pulling up this warm, moist air as it works up and through, and so that's going to drop those showers as we go through the afternoon. We'll see these spotty showers starting to fire and continuing to fire. I think we're done with most of the severe weather, though any storm could turn severe and put down, with the winds in it, put something down. But for the most part, we're not under any severe thunderstorm watches or tornado watches anymore. And we saw the last of the tornado watches expire this morning at 7 a.m. Since then, we've had 6 tornadoes, but or 6 tornado warnings. We'll continue to watch for them, though they could spin up in these areas. Look at your First Alert Predictor forecast model. As this line works through this afternoon, it could trigger a shower, even a thunderstorm into the evening. And then as we go through the overnight, we should see the atmosphere calm down a little bit in the overnight, and most of that will go away. Your 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather. Today we go 83 with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow we'll go 87, a few showers and storms, just a here and there, a hit or miss shower or storm. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we dry out. We start to wrap some cooler air on the backside, and temperatures will go down a little bit. More importantly, the humidity will go down a bit, and the lower the humidity is, the drier the air is, the more that allows things to dry out. And we need to dry out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, 88 degrees. First day of fall. Could be the warmest day of the week as we approach 90. Sunday, 85.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh. All right.
So many good-looking days ahead. We just got to get through this.
Just today and maybe tomorrow a spotty shower, but I promise by midweek we're talking better weather.
Sitting in here this morning, I've never heard it rain this hard and this long over the studio.
It's been crazy.
Not in all my years here.
All right, there's another story we're following from the western part of our viewing area. Well, not even in our viewing area. This is Anson County, and you see a CSX train derailed in Anson County. That's east of Charlotte. These are live pictures from the scene from our sister station WSOC, their helicopter. Officials believe heavy rain and flooding may have played a part in this derailment.
Yeah, they also believe the train may be carrying hazardous materials, which is what you don't want to hear. The train was going to Hamlet in Richmond County when the cars went off the tracks. Again, this is a train derailment from our sister station WSOC in Charlotte, and this is happening in Anson County. And we'll continue to watch this breaking news.
Yeah, you see the track is partially washed away there as those guys walk. CSX released a statement saying at approximately 6 p.m. yesterday, one of our trains headed to Hamlet derailed several rail cars near Gravel Plant Road in Lylesville, North Carolina. Personnel responding to the scene. The safety of everyone on site and the local community is our top priority. More information as it becomes available. So, look at that.
It is just a mess. Just a mess. We're going to Julie now. Are we going? She's 15501 Business. Oh, we're going to go to a break first.
When we come back, we'll have Julie Wilson live on the scene of some more breaking news.
We got to get out of here.
Welcome back to our special coverage of now Tropical Depression Florence.
We continue our live reports. Julie Wilson is spotting some flooding on 15501 Business. Our producer saying it looks like a little river behind you.
Yeah, it does. It looks just like a river behind me, and at this point, a pretty decent one. Jeff, if you can show the folks over here the westbound lane, you can't even see it. It's just completely underwater, and that is exactly why that exit ramp to get on the westbound portion of 15501 here just before Garrett Street is completely closed down. We came upon it by happenstance. We were going to another report of flooding there in Chapel Hill, and we noticed this was our exit. We couldn't get down it. Officers had flares up, and once we got onto the bridge and could look down through here, we thought the exact same thing, John, that it looks just like a river. And so this is closed off. You're not going to be able to get down here west or east. This is we're right by the exit ramp that's going to take you onto MLK Boulevard. That's just right over here into Durham, Duke area. And so this is what it looks like. Here's the U-Haul over here. I talked to one gentleman who said he thought it was about waist deep, and if you look here at the poles that say there's a curve coming up or there's a turn coming up, that would might be about accurate once you get off into those ditches in that area. So you can see officers up the way blocking that off. If you're going to be coming down 15501, you're not going to be coming down too far because they are turning people around. I think that's Garrett Road right up there by the Toyota dealership. I think that is. Toyota dealership looks fine. So does Red Lobster, if you're wondering. But westbound lane looking just like, oh, it could be part of the Neuse River right now, John and Barbara.
All right, thank you very much, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. All right, the last time that we talked to Jonah, who was along the Little River, he was showing us a flooded cemetery with just the flowers from the graves either floating or they were already at the top. And now he's going to show us a flooded church, Jonah. Do we have
John,
Jonah?
Barbara, I'm standing on Manchester Road, and you could see the Little River is well over the street here. And just to my left, this is Presbyterian Church of the Covenant. Look at that. And somewhere under there as well, I'm told, is a swing set. And the church, of course, it has its sanctuary, it has its offices, it has its social hall, and all of that now appears to be underwater. And right behind that, of course, is the Little River, which is well beyond flood stage. Right now, it's also past the mark where it was for Hurricane Matthew. And as I walk here out onto now the intersection of Manchester Road and Bragg Boulevard, I mean, this is the major artery that connects Harnett County, Cumberland County, and then to Fort Bragg. And officials now have just shut it down because they expect before 2:30, this river is now going to crest over here. And I don't know if our photojournalist is able to walk with us. Stand by. You could see the officers here. This is the bridge we were standing at yesterday. We were standing there yesterday. And now, I don't know if you could see, there's a river gauge. It's a silver box at the end of it. And that had to be raised. This is now well over what Matthew did to this river. You could see crime scene tape up here because it's not a suggestion. It is do not cross. This is a very serious situation here, Little River, and now, I mean, traffic is going to be closed down, and unfortunately, we're